So, how's everybody doing? How's it going? Oh, oops. So, what's to do today? I'm streaming a little late. Sorry about that. I had hoped to start sooner, but I spent most of the morning writing and then I felt kind of tired after writing so much. I feel like there was a lot to say, so I got a little beat. Oh yeah. I'm gonna link Twitch. You guys make sure to check out Twitch too. Go leave some comments on Twitch while you're at it. Oh, okay. So today, I guess we can start with like I have no idea what this says since that's what is it, Spanish? What? Do you see my post on Twitter? No. I have no idea what you're referring to. So, first we're going to start with Mute, who seemingly agrees with me on some things that were said. Mute said, reflections and thoughts on chapter 395. This time the theme is the difference in how Kazuya and Umi got rejected. Yeah, I think that's a part of it too, for sure. The scene where Chizuru apologizes with, I'm sorry, is different from Kazuya's moment, as it is depicted from a rear perspective. It is not just a service to showcase Chizuru's beautiful legs, but the key point is that, through perspective, it appears as though Umi-kun is looking down on Chizuru from above. That's a great way of Ooh, that's really good. That's really good. That's a great analysis. He does look higher than her, doesn't he? Right? Umi's the kind of character that literally like looks down on others, right? His whole thing is the idea of equals. And like literally the whole reason Umi is like seemingly obsessed with Chizuru is he's so convinced she's his fucking equal when they're nothing fucking alike. And Umi doesn't know how to actually be in a fucking relationship. So literally, the dude is just literally looking down, right? He's literally seeing someone below him, right? In Kazuya's case, Chizuru is facing him directly, but this time with Umi-kun, his right hand is in his pocket and his body is also angled diagonally towards Chizuru. It feels like suggesting an attitude of not facing Chizuru head on. Pretty much how I felt. They added some extra notes that I did not include. That's actually really well said. Umi-kun's expression when looking at Chizuru seems more cold than calm. Umi-kun knows that the reason Chizuru rejected him is because of Kazuya's presence, so he probably doesn't want to believe that he lost to Kazuya. Umi-kun's words, being jealous is such a lame thing, is not that someone else told him that being jealous is lame. It might be Umi-kun's own pride. But Chizuru's feelings don't matter to him, and you can glimpse Umi-kun's emotions of wanting to maintain his cool self. Yeah, for sure, right? The lines here are the same as with Grandma Nagomi said before. But while Umi-kun says if it makes you happy, that's enough, about the person Chizuru chose, I think saying it would be nice if it were me is contradictory. Okay. Also, even though he confesses to Chizuru with a guarded attitude and his hands in his pocket, it seems like he doesn't resonate with Chizuru at all. Yeah, right? It feels like when Nagomi says it, even though Nagomi is blinded by appearances, at least with Nagomi, it comes from a place of heart, right? It comes from the heart, right? That's where it feels like it really comes from. Whereas with Umi, it almost feels condescending. It almost feels like fixated on himself. Everything about it is about himself, right? It's so selfish. It's unbelievably selfish, right? Like literally everything about Umi is selfish to the point that what he feels almost doesn't feel like love, right? What's important here is that Chizuru says, I might be able to fall in love rather than I am in love. I'm in love is a subjective and one-sided expression, but I might be able to fall in love is phrased that way because Chizuru has never been in love before. And it's only because there's someone who is in love with her that she can do it. The composition is similar in the frontal view when rejecting Kazuya. But she rejected Kazuya. Chizuru had sweats on her face, whereas this time she appears calm without any sweat. The decisive difference is that when she rejected Kazuya, it was because he wasn't clear. It was because she wasn't clear about what romantic feelings were. But this time, the reason is because I want to face Kazuya. I didn't even tell Miyamori. She didn't even tell Miyamori-san, but she never would have thought that Chizuru's feelings for Kazuya would have come in front of Umi-kun. The contrast in the background lights and the shadow is different from when it was with Kazuya, isn't it? This time, it is shrouded in darkness. No, the composition looks quite similar. I think before she was shrouded in darkness. Now she's illuminated in light, right? Now it feels like there's certainty to Chizuru's feelings, right? Whereas before she was shrouded in darkness. She was hidden in shadow. She was confused. Is the lack of consistency in the industry of the company's Kazuya requested information due to a everything at the wall and see what sticks kind of thing? To begin with, the fact that there is a Panza video is managing PDFs and JPEGs isn't a big deal. But Kazuya is making a huge fuss about it, which is contrasting expressions to the much more laborious task he was doing for Chizuru during the Murray production, right? So the Panza, it's from Fanza, so Fanza versus Panza. No message from Umi-kun either, and suddenly a phone call. I wonder if he has the courtesy to ask Kazuya, like Kazu does. Is it okay to call now? Is the content of the call going to be about confessing to Chizuru to intimidate Kazuya? It says big storm for the provocation, so it feels like it's going to turn into a major confrontation. Next episode preview title, I don't want to lose her. Judging by the writing style, it's probably Kazuya's line, right? Maybe Umi-kun talks about something on the phone that makes Kazuya think he's going to take Chizuru away from him, like Umi-kun declares war by saying something like, if you're not dating yet, I won't give up. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable assessment. I didn't know the way it was written could be Kazuya, but what is it? One vote for Umi-kun declaring war. This is probably the trial for Kazuya, who can't be with her as he is now to even grow even more as a man, right? See, this is why. This is the important part. This is what I thought too. I think the next chapter, what it's going to do is actually triple down on Kazuya's current path. I don't think Umi's actions are going to lead Kazuya down a different path. I think it's going to make Kazuya triple down. He's going to try even harder. He's going to do even more. He's going to go even more insane with how much he wants to do, right? And I think it's only going to keep escalating because of Umi, right? I think Umi is not actually going to change Kazuya's direction. I think we're going to triple down. It doesn't seem like... I think the only person who can truly change Kazuya's direction is Chizuru. So I think next chapter, whatever Umi's gonna do, is gonna make Kazuya triple down. I bet Umi is gonna, like, pretty much kind of, in my opinion, I think what it could be is Umi's gonna acknowledge Kazuya as kind of a rival in a sense, right? Umi's whole thing is that his inability to come down from his high horse, right? Umi's inability to come down from his high fucking horse, and guess what? It did him jack shit. He didn't get fucking anything. So now he kind of has no choice but to come down from his high horse. He has to. He has to step down and actually look at the person who he deemed as weak and pathetic, who's now currently doing 10 times better than he is. And he has to look at that front and center. Kazuya isn't going to spiral. He's just going to triple down on his current path of needing to do more. Which is pretty much literally, I'm going to become a better man. Right? He's going to try to surpass Umi in a sense. Do Umi and Mami have similar personalities? Not at all. Not at all. Umi and Mami are like complete opposites. Umi and Mami are like complete opposites. Mami, so both come from a place of privilege, right? The difference is Umi seems like the kind of character who's got everything fucking handed to him since he was a fucking kid, right? He literally has everything handed to him on a silver platter. He views himself as like kind of a fucking god. That's his whole thing. So what happens? Mami is the complete opposite. Mami comes from a place of privilege, but she fucking hates her privilege. She feels she's Mami is almost dependent on her privilege. She thinks she can't exist without it. So her and Umi are the opposite. Mami almost doesn't like her privilege, but she uses it. That's the difference, right? Umi literally sits on his high horse. Mami looks at her. Mami doesn't like her privilege in a sense, but she uses it, right? Because it's convenient, right? Mami's afraid to fight on her own, right? And she gets jealous of Chizuru because Chizuru is better than her. Whereas Umi wants to feel superior to Kazuya because Kazuya shouldn't be as good as him. By every metric that Umi believes in, Kazuya should not be better than him. So Umi is unbelievably jealous, right? That's the truth, right? That's why so much of the composition, like Mute described, is literally Umi kind of speaking from a higher place, right? Literally look at the visuals. Literally, actually, let's focus on that a little bit. Literally look at these visuals. Umi is looking down. Chizuru is looking up. Chizuru is desperate. Umi is calm. Right? Chizuru yet again looks down. Umi doesn't even fucking budge, right? Chizuru just tells Umi, I already have my answer. I just can't think of you that way. I'm sorry. Chizuru bows down and Umi keeps looking down. What is the repeating theme? Umi keeps looking down. Right? He's almost forced to look down. Right? Umi refuses to look down. It's not just Umi is taller. Right? That's a part of it, right? Umi's height is a part of it. But literally, he's forced to look down, right? Because Umi always looks down on others. That's his whole thing. And literally, his height reflects that, right? The angling is intentional. It is meant to show how Umi literally stands on his high horse, right? He's so high above everyone else. He literally looks like he's fucking towering. Look at literally, he parallels the building behind him. He literally looks like he's towering. The whole idea behind Umi's character is literally that. He literally views himself as a giant tower. He is higher than people. He looks down on others. Right? And even then, he maintains his calm. Look at how he looks. Doesn't Umi look fucking ethereal? Look at how Reiji draws Umi. Doesn't he look fucking ethereal? He looks like a god. He looks like a prince. He looks gorgeous. He is so handsome. He's unbelievably handsome. This dude looks like he's a fantasy knight out of like a fucking, I don't know, isekai or some shit. That's what he looks like. And that's the idea. He literally has white hair. He literally looks like an ethereal godlike person. That's the idea, right? And that contrasts Chizuru's black hair. He looks like Jinwoo. Not really. I don't really see Jinwoo. Jinwoo actually looks cooler. Right? Umi continues to look down, and he just stands silently, right? Notice how Umi's consistently in control of his emotions, right? Whereas when Kazuya is rejected, what does Kazuya do, right? Kazuya smiles, laughs to hide and control his feelings, right? Kazuya is falling apart, but for her, he keeps it in check. For Chizuru, he keeps it in check. Who does Umi keep his feelings in check for? Himself, right? Umi keeps his feelings in check for himself. It is absolutely selfish. It is the epitome of selfish. Look at how he stands. He doesn't budge. He doesn't change his stance. He doesn't act like a human being. Umi literally doesn't act like a person. Like literally, I think he's so different from we talked about how he is similar to... Here, let me turn on the lights real quick. Sorry about that. All right, we talked about how he is... We talked about how Umi and Mitaka from Maison Ikoku are similar. I think the difference between Umi and Mitaka is literally that he is the dude literally like is so self-conceited that he's nowhere... Mitaka's even better in a sense. Because, like... Shit, give me a sec. Right? Mitaka is almost better than Umi in a sense, because at least Mitaka was actually kind of present in Kyoko's life, even though it was jealousy and vanity, right? But Umi's literally just expecting this. He doesn't actually show up in Chizuru's life. He isn't really there. The dude almost has like a god complex. Like, bordering on it at least. Because his superiority is so in his head that he's so desperate to prove himself superior to Kazuya that literally all he does is literally always maintain his cool and look cool. Umi's whole thing is consistently looking cool. It's not just a big ego, it's literally an ego so large, he thinks he's higher than everyone, right? And that's something you can literally see in how he plays the game, right? What does Umi do in the game? Right, when they're playing the game, Umi controls the entire game. He literally decides who gets to score. Right? He literally is able to decide who gets to score. The only time Umi's facade drops, he fucks up. And suddenly, you peek behind the bang. Right? Suddenly, when Umi fucks up, you finally get to peek behind the bang because you start to see, oh, look, he's a person. He's capable of mistakes, right? Before, he's in absolute control. And look, he made a mistake. You're only human. You're not a god. You're not so above everyone else. You can make mistakes too, right? But Umi is so certain he's above Kazuya, he needs to triple down on how he's standing and looking, right? Literally, he's above Chizuru. He doesn't move. He never even properly faces her, right? Most of Umi's stance is never actually facing and looking at Chizuru. Most of it is literally him looking away, right? He's literally not facing her. And then he asks, did you and him get closer after that? As if, oh, look, that nothing, right? As if he's owed an answer, right? I think he asks as if he's owed an answer, when he's not. You're not owed an answer. She doesn't have to tell you, right? But Chizuru does because Chizuru is a nice person. At the same time, right? When Umi asks this, look at how he looks. Look at his face. He almost looks mad. He almost looks upset. Right? And then Chizuru just says, yeah. Are you dating him then? Right? He just asks so upfront. Like, okay, if she is, what then? Right? Notice how all of this is centered around Kazuya. Right? Are you dating him then? Are you doing this then? Did you get closer? Right? And the moment he knows that they didn't, that they're not dating, suddenly he tries again. As if that'll change anything. It's like he views his words as if they're higher than. Umi isn't a narcissist, but he might be a sociopath. No. Umi is not a narcissist or a sociopath. Kazuya is antithetical to his beliefs. Kazuya is antithetical to his beliefs. Kazuya goes against everything Umi has understood. It's literally like Mami. It's literally like Mami, but in reverse. Chizuru goes against everything Mami has understood. And in reality, she's just jealous. Mami needs to prove herself. Mami feels inferior to Chizuru, so she needs to bring Chizuru down to her level. Umi feels superior to Kazuya, so he has to constantly push Kazuya down and make sure Kazuya isn't at his level so that he doesn't feel like Kazuya is intruding. And that's why he always checks and he always refers to Kazuya as he or him or that person. He never calls him by name when speaking to Chizuru, because if he acknowledges him, it gives Kazuya strength. He's that insecure about him, right? Umi is actually extremely insecure about Kazuya. So, when Chizuru says, no, we're not dating, I see. I don't want to be lame by acting all jealous. Literally, like, So you are being lame, right? You are being lame. You just want to, but notice how he did this before, right? This is his exact same wording as last time, right? This is his exact same wording as last time. I don't want to be lame. I don't want to be lame. It's the same exact wording. It always comes back to that. Umi is so set on being cool, he could never conceive of himself as being lame, because being lame to him means you don't get the girl. You don't get the success, right? He's so caught up in the industry. He could never conceive of actually being lame, even though being lame is part of being in love. That they see your lame and weak side. That they accept that part of you, because that's a part of who you are, right? Umi never shows himself to anybody. He never shows how fucking lame he is. Right? And in so doing, he looks even more lame. Where is it? What does Umi say? To be honest, I'm jealous after what happened at the barbecue. He makes it sound like, oh, something big happened. Nothing happened. Right? He makes it sound like something big happened. Literally nothing happened. Right? That's why Umi's words feel so scandalous, right? He acts like what he did is like some big fucking thing. He acts like what he did is like some big scandalous thing. Like, oh my God, how is he so much better than me, right? That's why it sounds like a big deal. It's not. He frames it like a big deal because he views himself as a big deal. That's the whole idea. That's why he frames it like that. That's why he phrases it like that, right? He talks like he's coming from a place of respect. He's not. It's all selfish. He talks like he's being respectful, like he's being honest. He's not. It is extremely selfish. Every single thing Umi does is the complete opposite of what it appears. Like I said at the barbecue, I don't need your answer right now. She already wanted to reject you back then and you didn't let her. She tries to give you an answer now, you don't fucking let her. I was genuinely trying to be mindful of your feelings. I knew you were going through a lot of the time, but it didn't seem right to cause you unnecessary worry. Huh. It didn't seem right to cause you unnecessary worry. What did Kazuya notice the moment she fucking came back? Right? Oh, look, she wasn't fucking happy about it. Oh, look, she wasn't fucking happy about it. It's almost like you caused her unnecessary worry and pressure. Huh. Literally, I didn't want to do that to you, literally did that to her. You may only be sharing a room with him, as you say. Still, I can't help but feel a little jealous, right? Ooh, I can't help but feel a little jealous. Bitch, suck a dick. What a weenie little bitch. Literally, dude has to always look cool. Literally has to always get what he wants. What he feels for Chizuru is not love. She's merely amused to him. What Umi feels for Chizuru is not love. What Umi has with Chizuru doesn't even come close to love. She's literally just amused to him. She's just an inspiration to him. Right? He just admires her. He doesn't actually see her. He wasn't there for any of the moments where she fucking needed someone. Kazuya was. Umi didn't do jack shit. Umi doesn't understand love for shit. This dude has clearly never actually had to try and put a real effort into a fucking relationship in his goddamn life. Ever. Here's the easiest one. We've seen 2 of Chizuru's birthdays, neither of which was Umi present. At all. He wasn't there at all. Shiori, on Chizuru's first birthday, Shiori told Chizuru happy birthday, not Umi. He was literally not there. No, he didn't show up at all. Chizuru's second birthday, he didn't even say happy birthday, give her a present or anything. Nothing. Literally, the dude is not in her fucking life and somehow expects to have a relationship with her. Like, this dude doesn't work on relationships. He doesn't know, he can't even conceive of how to actually have a relationship. He's so goddamn blind. He's so, like, gone somewhere fucking else that he doesn't know anything about relationships. Even when Kazuya is not being his honest self, he's literally actually facing Chizuru. They're literally presented as equals, right? Mute literally says this, right? Kazuya and Chizuru are literally presented as equals. Umi is literally drawn above her. He's literally towering like a skyscraper. They're not equals. They may appear like equals. They're not equals, right? Even this, right? They look like equals, right? Literally, in the one scene where they look like equals, what are Chizuru's exact words to him? I'm not the kind of person you think I am. When she literally looks like his equal, she says, I'm not like you. I'm not who you think I am. I am not your equal. I'm not someone who I'm not this thing you paint me as. I'm something different. And he's left alone standing on his high horse. And he has no choice but to actually acknowledge this person, Kazuya, who's below him. Huh. Let's read some of the comments. Umi looks like Kazuya, like Commodus looks at Maximus in Gladiator. Oh, is that the Emperor? He has main character syndrome, pretty much. That's a good way of saying it. It sounds like what you're trying to reject. It sounds like what you are to reject me. I am Umi. Ah, yeah. He thinks I am him. He thinks I am him. Right? Minnie needs to give Umi that uppercut she gave Kazuya. I bet Umi's never been fucking hit. I bet Umi's never been fucking hit in his life. Does he know when her birthday is? Exactly. Does he? Has Umi ever done anything for Chizuru's birthday or anything? You sound like you're going to fight Umi. I fucking would. Are you shitting me? Like, I was just like, oh yeah, Umi isn't that bad. I thought about it for like 2 seconds. Oh yeah, he's a piece of shit. This dude literally has main character syndrome. Like, I was literally defending Umi for so long, and I was just like, wow, he fucking sucks. What a piece of shit. Literally has something good and then gives it up out of main character syndrome. What a piece of shit. Like, dude sucks ass. He tricked you, lol. Yeah. He tricked me with main character syndrome. Yeah. People say Kazuya is obsessive and simping, but to me, it's Umi who's obsessive and simping. That's actually very accurate, yes. Kazuya actually has a relationship with Chizuru. He's put in actual effort. He's actually created a bond. There's something there. Kazuya may kind of be like a little obsessive with Chizuru, sure, but what he has with her is real. That's why he is in the first place. You don't see him do this with the other female characters, right? You don't see Kazuya doing this with like Ruka or Sumi or Mami. None of those other characters hold that kind of place in Kazuya's heart. The reason Kazuya acts like he does is because he genuinely feels an emotional bond with this person, right? And that emotional bond is tough for him. Umi is just Umi doesn't have an emotional bond with Chizuru. He doesn't react negatively to being rejected. It's about him. It's not about Chizuru. It's about him. Right? What he's describing is nothing to do with Chizuru. What he's feeling has nothing to do with Chizuru. Right? He is obsessive. Right? What he feels for Chizuru is not real. It's just an emotion he's convinced himself he's feeling. It literally, the way Mute said it, when it came to this scene, where he uses Nagomi's words, but at least Nagomi's words come from a place of love. His is selfish, right? Nagomi says her words for Kazuya. She says, I wish she would be with Kazuya. Yeah, it's a little selfish, but she's wishing happiness for Kazuya and Chizuru together, right? Umi wants this for himself. I'm hoping that person to be me. It's about him. Right? And it sounds like it's real, but Umi never blushes. Did you notice that? Has Umi ever blushed when it came to Chizuru? In this entire time, did he blush once? Nothing. Chizuru blushes more than he does. Chizuru feels more than he does. Right? He has a tiny blush when he finds her inspiring. He isn't just cold, he's ice. Like what Umi is like what people think Chizuru is. He's literally made of steel. This isn't a person. Right? This is not a person. This is literally the Iron Man or the Iron Lady, right? He's literally made of iron. This isn't a person. He doesn't like actually connect to others, right? And I think that's why I think like Shiori in him is probably the ship, in my opinion. Like I think Shiori in him is probably the ship, in my opinion, because Shiori is what is it? Shiori is actually someone who would probably work with Umi. But Umi needs to recognize her first. He doesn't see her. He doesn't see this girl because she's so far below him. He thinks he's so above her. Right? He thinks he's so much more above her. He needs someone who's his equal. But I think Shiori is actually like his true partner, in my opinion. Shiori would like temper him and wake him the fuck up. Right? I think Shiori could like teach him how to be a better person and actually form a real relationship. Because I don't think Umi knows how to. Right? So I think that's what Reiji's setting up. But Umi's probably, gonna triple down on his fucking high horse. Right? He's probably gonna tell Kazuya like, hey, like I refuse to lose her. You're not as good as me. Like shit like that, And I think whatever he tries to do with Kazuya, like it'll probably set Kazuya on the path to want to keep improving, and keep changing, Umi knows he'll be rejected by Chizuru all the time, but since Tiger Zen, he has done nothing for Chizuru ever since even to increase his chances. So I don't know what he expects by saying nonsense like, I hope it's me, right? He had 3 fucking months. He did nothing. Did jack shit. Right? I found that weird. Initially, I found that weird, When I thought about it, I'm like, how do you not do anything for 3 months? But then you sit down and think about Umi's character. Umi literally does nothing for anyone else. He doesn't do anything for anyone else. Right? He is so selfish. He never even considers doing anything for anyone else. In that sense, Ruka is antithetical to Umi. Because despite Ruka being selfish, she actually does things for Kazuya. She's actually there. She actually tries. She fails, but she tries. Right? She sees Kazuya's down and she tries to be there for him, and she knows she can't. She knows, like literally, Umi and Ruka are opposites. Ruka is positive selfish love. Umi is completely negative selfish love. It's not even love at this point, right? It's just selfish, right? Ruka just has selfish love. Umi is just selfish. It's all about him, right? It's just all about him. He's so selfish, unbelievably so. that, like, he never even considers to be there for someone else. That's why, like, I think him and Mitaka aren't even really the same, right? Because Mitaka is selfish, and Mitaka does try to do shitty things, but he tries to actually be there for Kyoko, right? Like, he actually tries to be there for her. And he's just... This dude is just so caught up in his fucking own, like, image that he can't even look at Chizuru in another way. He wants people to be negative like him. No. It's more self-centered than anything. Right? It's more self-centered than anything. It's not about... No, Chizuru... I would say what you're describing sounds more like Mami. What you're describing sounds more like Mami. Umi is just... This dude fucking sucks. Right? Umi just fucking sucks. He is the epitome of selfish. Right? Even Nagomi, in her own selfish way, is selfless. Even Nagomi, in her own selfish way, is selfless. Even though Nagomi is blinded by her bias, she's selfless still. Because in her own selfish way, she includes Ruka. Right? And in so doing, it becomes selfless. Right? Nagomi is a character that's presented as selfish. In reality, she's quite selfless. And she has this struggle of dragging between the two, where at times she's very selfish and at times she's very selfless. She tries to have the best for Kazuya, but she's blinded by her own beliefs about him at times. And basically, the lesson she learned is to have faith in him, right? And to have faith in Chizuru, to close her eyes and just fucking believe. She learned to do what Sayuri did. Sayuri couldn't see the truth, right? Sayuri wasn't able to see the future, but she closed her eyes and she believed. He's so self-centered, he looks at people's eyes to see his own reflection. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. No, Umi's kind of a piece of shit. Umi is kind of a piece of shit. It's actually genuinely surprising how much of a piece of shit he is. Like, it's so shitty that, like, you didn't even think about it, because he acts nice at times. Umi is the inverse Kazuya. Kazuya has an inferiority complex and Umi has a superiority complex. Pretty much. I don't know if Kazuya has an inferiority complex. He kind of does, but kind of doesn't. I think Kazuya's inferiority became a thing later. I'm gonna need a different lawyer. Better call Saul. Ha 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 ha. So funny. Yeah. Now let me quote this. You make some... I misspelled superiority like a dumb bitch. That's just selfish and sad jealousy. like fantasy or godlike. Like fantasy. Fantasy. There we go. Sorry. Okay, where were we? Hey, Johan, how was your day today? Thanks for continuing to show as much love to the series, really. Oh, thank you. Oh, someone wrote in Japanese. Cool. Good evening, Johan. Hello, Mr. Take. Hi there. Welcome. Really want to know what Chizuru actually thinks about Umi. Every time he confesses, she looks extremely annoyed. It clearly bothers her. And I think I said this on Twitter. I think in part Chizuru's saying this. Chizuru's wording here. She says, "I'm sorry. Right now, I want to face that person wholeheartedly." That person, I feel like, is almost Chizuru telling Umi to acknowledge Kazuya because he fucking refuses to. I think never stop. What is Chizuru's specific phrasing here? Right? What is there some sort of implication in Chizuru's wording here? But literally, it feels like the way Chizuru is saying this is almost like pointing out to Umi how he doesn't acknowledge Kazuya. That kind of feels like what's happening, in my opinion. Like, she's literally acknowledging Kazuya in contrast to Umi, who refuses to acknowledge him, right? That I feel like she literally says this as she's facing Umi. But no, Umi is too busy trying to be superior, right? He's too busy trying to be above all, right? So he doesn't see Kazuya. He's too busy seeing what he wants to see, right? So when Chizuru says, "I'm sorry, I want to face that person right now," and then she turns away from him, "I don't want to face you. You're not the thing I want to face. You're not what I'm interested in." And I think that is almost whether that's Chizuru's intent or not, it is telling Umi to actually recognize Kazuya. It was a similar phrase from what she said during she talked with Sumi. I know it's similar, but it's different because now she's certain. Before she said, "I think I have to do this." Now she says, "I want to do this." The phrase is similar, but it feels like it's almost telling Umi to acknowledge Kazuya. Whether that's intentional or not, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Umi seemingly refuses to acknowledge him. And he kind of has to. When Chizuru rejects Kazuya, she looks directly at him. Chizuru's "I'm sorry" to Umi is with a bow, without looking on him. No. She says "I'm sorry" right here. It's not the bow, it's how it's depicted. Chizuru is calm and under control here. She doesn't panic, she doesn't sweat. She completely knows what she's saying is for Kazuya, not for Umi. Right? She is just telling Umi, "I don't have feelings for you." The reason she blushes is not because of Umi, she's blushing because of Kazuya. And with Kazuya, in contrast, she's in shadow. She's hidden. She's blushing. She's a mess. The rejection with Umi is also Umi towers above her. Well, when Chizuru said "I'm sorry" initially, she did bow, just like with Kazuya, but then she looked up after. I guess that is a little similar. I guess that is a little similar. Yeah, I guess that's something we can point out. When Chizuru says "I'm sorry," she looks up right away. She feels the need to immediately apologize to Kazuya, whereas with Umi, she only does this as a second rejection, not a first. That's true. Fair enough. Right? That's fair enough. Right? This is the initial rejection, and in the initial rejection, she doesn't look up, she doesn't move until Umi says something. Right? But she does look up at Kazuya right away. That is true. I guess I'll mention that on Twitter real quick. Also notice how says I'm sorry to Kazuya. Only has the paralleling image to 380 in her second rejection. Sliver of what Kazuya got. Did I spell sliver right? I feel like I didn't. Sliver. Oh, I spelled it correct. Well, that makes sense. It wasn't correcting me. Alrighty. Actually. Chizuru bows first, then looks at Kazuya directly and rejects him. She doesn't even look at Umi. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Chizuru bows first. Then looks at Kazuya directly and rejects him. Yeah. It really just feels like Umi is like totally in fucking denial, dude. I also feel like Umi only has selfish desires with Chizuru in its one way, and it's toxic. That's why his ego won't accept it. I also feel that this loose end with Umi is the end. I don't think he'll be he'll be on a Mami run trying to ruin it for Chizuru and Kazuya. Yeah, I kind of weirdly feel that too, because literally look at how it ends. Umi's literally at the end of his road. Umi's quite literally at the end of his road. There's nowhere else to go. That's it. I was literally saying this, like this. Literally, this is the look at behind him. Look what's behind him. He's literally at the end of his road. There's literally nothing else, right? He's run out of time. There's nothing else. He's reached the end of this path. There's nowhere else to go, right? He's run for so much that there's no more running. That's it. This is the end. And he has to accept this is the end. He got double rejected outright. Like, there's no but, ifs, or whats. He's just shut the fuck up and take this. Like, literally, Chizuru just completely took control back. Umi has dictated the pace for so long, Chizuru's just like, no more. No, I'm setting the line straight. I'm drawing a line. I'm setting this crystal clear so you fucking understand. Kazuya just sees Umi in a week later crying in a bar asking for more booze. No, Umi has too high of a standard of himself to ever fucking do that. This says a lot about Chizuru's feelings. She faces Kazuya because she cares, even if it hurts. She wanted to let him go. With Umi, it doesn't hurt. Kazuya acted like that on the date too. He didn't do anything. On the actual date, Kazuya consistently thought Umi would do it and acted. He was in Umi's shadow, and that's why he was rejected. I was literally saying on Twitter, it feels like what Kazuya needs to happen is Kazuya needs to escape two shadows. Kazuya has two shadows. He has an unseen shadow, and he has the shadow of Umi. Kazuya's unseen shadow is Mami. He keeps looking at Mami. Kazuya has to remove Mami and Umi from his life. Umi is a little too is too centered in Kazuya's life. Literally, the phone case Kazuya got is because of Umi. Umi is literally the very ocean to the marine life Kazuya loves. Kazuya is a little too, like, Umi dictates too much of Kazuya's feelings. He's too involved in Kazuya's emotions. Kazuya needs to take his feelings back from Umi. He needs to get them back to himself. In contrast, you have Mami. Mami haunts Kazuya in a different way. Mami haunts Kazuya by reinforcing his inferiority to him. Simply because of how Mami's actions resulted in the pain Kazuya suffered, whether it be at the start of the series or in Hawaiians. All of it is Mami. And I think Kazuya needs to in some ways face Mami to see, and Mami needs to recognize what she's done to him. So that's why I think Umi and Mami aren't the same in any way, shape, or form. They're too different. Mami and Umi would make a terrible pair. A horrendous pair. I bet Mami would fucking hate Umi because he's such a fucking high horse prick. So she would just fucking hate him. I feel like Mami's more Chizuru's foil, whereas Umi is Kazuya's. No. Mami is not so much Chizuru's foil as she is both Kazuya and Chizuru's foil. Mami is kind of at the center of their relationship. Umi is on the outside of their relationship. Umi is literally the expectations. Mami is more complex because Mami's actions when she goes after Chizuru ultimately hurt Kazuya too. Mami is presented as Chizuru's foil. She's ultimately Kazuya's foil. Because every time she hurts Chizuru, she hurts Kazuya, the person she claims to love. Umi is just all about him. Umi is just all about him. It's just pure fucking selfishness. He's not Kazuya's foil. He's literally the embodiment of Kazuya's insecurities. But he's not actually Kazuya's foil. He doesn't do anything that impacts Kazuya in any way. His actions achieve absolutely nothing because they're all about him. Mami is an actual foil. Mami is an actual antagonistic figure within the narrative because her actions actually hurt both of them. I would argue Mami is more of Kazuya's foil. I would argue Ruka is Chizuru's true foil. I think Ruka is closer to Chizuru's true foil. Because Ruka is actually Ruka embodies everything Chizuru wants to be as she thought it was. Umi is what Kazuya thinks he wants to be, right? I would argue Ruka and Umi are like similar in that way. It's like both Chizuru and Kazuya think they need to be Ruka and Umi respectively, when in reality they don't. Mami can become Bastion in Overwatch. Umi is just the other robots, pretty much. Umi's just a dude with a fucking god complex. I think, or more like he has a superiority complex that's gone out of hand. Not so much a god complex. I think Umi's superiority complex has just gotten out of hand. He didn't seem like that kind of guy at first. He didn't seem like that kind of guy at first. And he clearly seemed to care. And I think he got too caught up in his admiration for Chizuru. He got a little too caught up in his admiration for Chizuru, and he got sucked into it. And he lost the meaning of why he's doing. The contrast is more about beliefs. Mami creates truth based on lies, and Chizuru creates lies based on truths, as it happens with Hawaiians. Everything Mami says is true, but she also lies. Well, no. Everything Mami says is not true. Everything Mami says is not true. It just looks like a truth. In reality, it's a lie. What Mami does is she takes a truth, right, that you understand and pins it on someone. And that truth may have absolutely nothing to do with this person. Mami is a character that twists truths with lies. She twists a truth into a lie. Chizuru, in contrast, tells lies that are based on truths. So in turn, the lie is a truth. Everything Mami says is a lie. She doesn't also lie. Everything Mami says is a lie. She lies to herself. The foundation of everything she is saying is a lie. Therefore, any truth she says is in of itself a lie, because the foundation of who she is a lie. That's the issue with Mami. Umi, in contrast, his foundation is literally his need to be superior to Kazuya. And so, in simple terms, Umi is kind of like Mami in that sense. Because his foundation is built on the lies or his foundation is built on this truth that's in reality a big fucking lie. Right? What Umi experiences is true in a sense. But it's also just a big fucking lie because that has nothing to do with relationships. That you know, the whole money, power, fame, and all that bullshit, right? Him being attractive, him all that stuff. None of that has to actually do with relationships. It's all just in his fucking head. Literally, dude, Umi is like literally the criticism of Riz Kings. Umi is the criticism of fucking Riz gods. He's like, yo, look at these fuckers. They're stupid as shit. Look at these fuckers. They're stupid as shit. It's okay. No worry. Don't worry about it, Shadow. Oh yeah, let's copy link. We're gonna toss it in here. I'm listening to Final Fantasy 16 music and it fucking bops. Oh, if you're wondering what song it is, it's Titan Lost. I'll put this here for now while I type. I can't play the song because I'm pretty sure I'd get copyrighted. I'm still reeling from last night's realization and keeping it on lock. Bitch, you better shut the fuck up. Bitch, you better shut the fuck up. I swear to God, if you tell anybody, I will actually remove your admin privileges. I'm not even remotely fucking kidding. I may just outright remove your admin privileges if you tell anybody, because you're telling me I can't fucking trust you, dude. Oh, I like this person. What do they have to say? The man adorns his love with flair. The woman cherishes her innocent feelings. The words spoken by the actor standing at the wings of the stage never reach each other. What a farcical play. Farcical. I've never heard this word. Farcical. Related to or resembling a farce. Oh. No, I want to quote him. I don't want to view any fucking quotes. Let me quote the bitch. Nothing but a farce. A mere... Oh, wow. A mere act of a relationship. A mere act of a relationship. Not a real one. An act of acting out love. Not actually experiencing it. Bro, as long as y'all cooking something good, I don't care. What? Just let me in on what? Um, no. Uh, okay. Bacon. You will not even mention what we talked about yesterday. Do you understand? Because now chat wants to know, and that's unacceptable. So, bitch, you're going to keep your mouth shut, and you're not even going to hint at it anymore. Understand? Good. Good. I'm glad we have an understanding. Let's see if there's something else they talked about. Ooh. That's not enough. Give me the name of a flower. Let me float on a cut glass plate and love for it too, don't you think? At the end of kindergarten, I proudly said this girl who waved goodbye. I don't understand, but cool. I don't understand, but cool. I just got Mommy. Okay, now it's getting fucking sus. No. Just don't worry about it. It's not anything bad. It's not anything bad. I don't want to know, so it's fine. It's not anything bad. It's nothing bad. It's not anything bad. Don't worry about it, okay? It's nothing bad. Don't worry. Is there anything else on Twitter? Should I go to Reddit? You nothing. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not gonna tell you anything. I've made that mistake before. You will know absolutely nothing. Sorry. There's nothing more for me to say. You silly fool. Okay. Johan, I think I discovered something perhaps far-fetched. When Umi looks at Chizuru leaning behind him are the buildings similar to 380, which represent Kazuya and Chizuru. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it a little bit. He is in the middle. Let's look at it. Let's look at this. No, I think Umi is meant to parallel the buildings. Rather than being in between the buildings, Umi is meant to parallel the buildings. This is because in chapter 370 something, let me pull it up. So this is the cover of chapter 379. The next page. Okay. This? Okay, no, you're fishing. If you mean this, you are so fishing. I think you're fishing. Right? If you're trying to compare it to this, I'm sorry, you're kind of fishing. This is just a no. I don't know. I know what you're trying to say, but no. No. This is too small to. So look, if what you're saying is true, Reiji would have put more emphasis on it. If what you're saying was true, Reiji would have put more emphasis on it. For instance, he would have had it here. He would have had it more here. He would have put a lot more emphasis. This is too small. The problem with this is it's too small. It's too convenient, you know. This feels a little more like fishing. I get it. But that's the thing. Umi's never been in between their relationship. That's the thing. Umi has literally never been that. Umi's never been in between Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship. He's never fucking mattered. To say Umi was in between Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship is nonsense because he's never fucking mattered. So to say this was the intent Reiji was showing here is wrong. Because he's not. He's also not perfectly balanced between the buildings. He's clearly clipping into this building. Right? I just think it's a little too fishing. Like you're right. So even here, notice how the buildings are always behind him. Notice how it never happens in any other shot, right? Reiji could have put more emphasis on it, like he does, for instance, Umi constantly towering, Umi constantly being tall. That would have made more sense. In contrast, right? In contrast, this is the cover of chapter 379, where what do you see? It's two buildings, and then when you turn to Chizuru and Kazuya and Chizuru literally parallel the buildings. The point is that they're literally supposed to be, it's their perspective. The buildings are their perspective. They are the buildings. The towers are them. They are the stage, right? This is a real stage, right? This is the real play, whereas Umi is acting out a play. Umi is merely acting out a play. He's not actually in a play, right? He's not actually living the experience. Umi's merely acting. He's pretending. He's not actually in love with her. Umi doesn't actually love Chizuru. He doesn't even fucking see her. He's pretending. He's acting out a play. In that sense, when I was saying Umi's just acting out a play, I was correct. He is. It's just he's deluded himself into thinking this is reality. It's all just a big fucking play. He's literally just in a play. He's just acting, and this is his stage. He doesn't actually love Chizuru. He says these words and he doesn't even blush. He says, I love you, and he doesn't even blush. Umi doesn't love her. That's just a fact. Umi doesn't actually love her. How can he say he loves her? He doesn't even know her. He doesn't even blush when he thinks of her. He doesn't even touch her. He doesn't even care to. He never wants to touch her. He never wants to get closer to her. She doesn't want to get closer to him. He always maintains a distance from her. Umi never gets close to Chizuru, ever. Umi is not, I don't think he's even attracted to her. Like, the dude is literally acting out love. He's not actually in love. The two buildings are real buildings that you can see from Wataba's building. Reiji was being realistic. It's not just being realistic. I know these are real buildings. No. I know these are real buildings, but it's very intentional that he sets these as the buildings, and then he literally has Kazuya and Chizuru parallel the buildings in height. That was an intentional choice by Reiji. He has the characters literally paralleling the buildings in height. It is meant to reflect perspective. It is meant to reflect the perspective and stage. This is a stage. It literally says this here in the Japanese, that this is the stage is set, and these are the lights of the stage. That's the whole idea. The buildings are meant to parallel the characters because it's about perspective. This entire scene here in chapter 379 is about perspective. You're seeing things from a particular perspective. You're not seeing the full picture. Umi, in contrast, he's the only one with the buildings. In contrast, the only buildings with Umi are his own. He is the building. Chizuru is not a building. There's no building for Chizuru here. Umi is the only one on a stage. Chizuru is not on a stage. Chizuru is being honest here. She's not on a stage. She's not acting. Umi is acting. Umi is pretending. He's literally being an actor. He's not actually being honest here. He's not being honest to himself. His entire life is an act. Umi's entire life is an act. That's meant to parallel Mami's character, who literally lives in lies. Right? Whereas Mami lives in a world of lies to excuse her trauma, Umi literally is living, it literally lives in the entertainment industry. He acts out his entire life. Everything in his life is an act. Yes, I think it's very understandable. I think Chizuru realized that Kazuya, I love you, is different from Umi, and this can awaken something in her. I understand what you're saying. I admit it. The truth is very far-fetched. I'm not just talking about you anymore, Shadow. I was talking to Never Stop, and we're talking about other things. And I was delving more into Umi's character and how he's literally living a fucking lie. I wasn't just criticizing you. I was just delving into this more. I wasn't just criticizing you. But yeah. Another thing I want you to notice too is that while Umi is a building, right? So like I said here, Umi is here. Let me this shot. Umi is literally one of the buildings, right? Umi is literally one of the buildings. Now notice chapter 383, right? Notice chapter 383. What is the cover? It's Kazuya carrying Chizuru through a city of buildings, right? Kazuya is carrying Chizuru through the buildings. He's carrying her through all of these walls surrounding them. Umi is merely a wall. Umi is merely a building in the way. It is a building. He literally does not move like a building. He stands tall like a building. He does not move. Kazuya, in contrast, does move, and he goes to a clearing, right? Kazuya walks past the buildings. Kazuya moves. He takes action. Kazuya is not immovable. Kazuya is a real human who will move and interact and do things. That's the difference between Kazuya and Umi. The final sequence with Kazuya is literally Kazuya walking. Kazuya making a choice. Kazuya actually taking action. Umi takes no real action because he doesn't actually love Chizuru. Umi says, I love you, and he doesn't actually mean it. He doesn't actually love Chizuru. If he did, he would have did something. Kazuya moves through the buildings. Kazuya moves and takes action. He is a living person who takes action in his life. Umi doesn't. Umi merely stands tall. He never budges. But what good is a man who does nothing? What good is a man who just stands? Move, bitch. Umi's I love you is fake. Yes. He doesn't actually mean it. He doesn't believe it. If Umi actually believed he loved Chizuru, he would have done something. He doesn't actually love her. This is meant to contrast Mami, who does love Kazuya and refuses to admit it to herself. Umi doesn't love Chizuru, and he needs to admit it to himself that he doesn't fucking love her. He's not admitting to himself he doesn't actually fucking love her. If he did, he would have done more. In contrast, what does Mami do? Mami does way too much bullshit. All because she actually loves Kazuya and refuses to admit it to herself. They're complete opposites. Literally two sides of the fucking spectrum. Literally the complete opposite extremes. Umi doesn't actually love Chizuru. If he did, he would have done more. Mami does actually love Kazuya. And it shows in her actions. She does all that terrible shit because secretly she's jealous and wants to be with him. How is he able to say he loves her if he doesn't love her? Jealous? He literally said he didn't want to be jealous, and seconds later he tells her he wishes she was with him, lol. No, Umi is a person who convinced himself he loves someone else when he doesn't. He convinced himself he loves Chizuru because Umi is actually, in reality, just envious of Kazuya. In reality, Umi is just envious of Kazuya. Remember, what was the reason Umi asked Chizuru out in the first place? Right? What was the reason Umi asked Chizuru out in the first place? Let's go to it. Chapter, what was this? 123. Umi was not going to ask Chizuru out here. Umi wasn't going to ask Chizuru out here. That was never a plan. Suddenly, he hears about Kazuya. Suddenly, Umi hears about Kazuya. And then he decides to ask Chizuru out. And look how calm he is. The only reason he asked her out is because of Kazuya. Not because he's actually interested in her. And then he proceeds to convince himself he's actually interested in her. How does he do this? Right? It's literally like method acting. It's literally like method acting. He convinced himself he's in love. He doesn't actually fucking love her. Right? He sees Chizuru smile genuinely. Right? And he's happy. I love that side of you. I've come to love that side of you. I already broke up with her. I'm glad you came with me. I got to see your glittering eyes as I watched the play. One of the only times Umi actually fucking blushes. One of the only times. But notice what he's saying here. Pay attention to this. I'm glad you came with me. I got to see your glittering eyes as you watched the play. He says he saw her eyes and his eyes are closed. Did he actually see her? Or did he see what he wanted to see? Did Umi actually see her? When he talks about Kazuya, notice this. It was when you started looking forward, looking to the future. His eyes are covered by the words of the future. The bubble literally covers his eyes. Umi cannot see a future with her. Umi cannot see the future. He cannot see the future with her. So yeah, you do like him, that friend of yours. It's like he needs to know that she likes him. And then when Chizuru says, I don't not like him, suddenly Umi gets caught up in this. Right? I think there's a little more to Umi's character, right? But I think Umi has seemingly convinced himself he's in love with Chizuru, right? I think Umi has seemingly convinced himself he's in love with Chizuru. Umi lies to himself that he loves Chizuru, and Minnie lies to herself that she doesn't love Kazuya. No. Minnie lies to herself not that she doesn't love Kazuya. Minnie lies to herself that she can't have love, that she's unfit for love. Minnie lies to herself about the things she loves. She tells herself that the only reason she can pursue things is because of other people. Minnie lies to herself for different reasons. And weirdly, Minnie was kind of right about Umi. Right? Weirdly, Minnie was kind of right about Umi. Which is kind of funny. Why can't Umi reflect why his previous relationship failed in the first place? See, we don't even know the details of that. We don't even know the details of why Umi's past relationship failed. Regardless, Umi's going to confess something to Kazuya in the phone call. Whether it's good or bad, that's yet to be determined. Weirdly, I kind of hope Umi's just honest. It would be quite refreshing. It would be quite refreshing. I kind of don't want Umi to be like, pull some bullshit. I think Umi has to acknowledge Kazuya, and I would like that to kind of be the thing, you know. I kind of want Umi to be honest, right? Because Chizuru was being honest with him, so I kind of want Umi to be honest, right? We might learn a little more about him, but I don't know. Dreams being shattered tends to bring out people's most honest self. But was this really a dream? Was this truly a dream? Right? I think next chapter is going to be Kazuya saying, "I don't want to lose her to anyone." That feels more accurate than Umi saying that. Right? I don't, because Umi already lost her. Like, he never had her to begin with. Umi never had her to begin with. He got double rejected twice. Just, get a fucking clue, bitch. A dream concocted of his own arrogance. And what's fascinating is, how did Umi get down this path, you know? How did Umi get down this path? Because he didn't seem like that kind of person initially. Right? He didn't seem like that kind of person initially. And then the more it continued, the worse he got. Kind of like Mami. Right? Mami wasn't initially that bad. Right? Mami at the start of the series did shitty things, but she wasn't a bad person. Not outright. In fact, there's things the anime skipped that I wish they didn't, that show Mami, like, actually doubting herself. Like, where is it? Like, where is it? Yeah, I hate that the anime fucking skipped this scene. Right? Mami actually got a glimpse of Kazuya, and she turns around and says, "Stupid, stupid." And look at her. Right? Mami actually doubts herself a lot. It's just a really subtle scene, and I wish they included it. But Mami, by continuing to interact with Kazuya, eventually became obsessed. I think maybe that's kind of meant to parallel Umi. You can maybe understand a bit of Umi's character by understanding Mami's character. By continuing to be around Chizuru, and not, like, addressing his feelings properly, and not actually facing Chizuru honestly, he kind of developed this arrogance. And his high horse needed to crumble. Mami, in contrast, developed this obsession with Kazuya and Chizuru. And she needed to look in the mirror to realize she became the very person she despised. So I think Umi, in contrast, his high horse needed to crumble. I think he just got too stuck on Chizuru, just because of the idea of. It's hard to know, really. It's hard to quite pen down Umi's character on why he got so obsessed with Chizuru. Right? It's easy to say she's just a prize, but I think it has to do with Kazuya himself. To Umi, call late of night out of nowhere. He'll put his cards on the table for sure. Yeah. Chizuru is the replacement for Umi's ex. That's the meaning of the game. I think Umi still misses his ex-girlfriend. Could be. I don't know, though. According to the preview of the next chapter, I don't want her to be taken away from me. It would be interesting if Umi blackmailed Kazuya by saying something that happened with Chizuru and Kazuya finally made a move. I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it. So Mute, the Japanese reader, literally said the phrasing of the dialogue sounds like something Kazuya would say. It sounds like his words. And interestingly, let me show you something from. These are the official translations from chapter 179. And this is Kazuya's words. I don't want to lose her to anyone. Not her, never her. So Kazuya literally already said these words in Japanese. I immediately thought of this scene when I looked back. So it makes a lot of sense that it would be Kazuya who says this, not Umi. It makes sense that Kazuya would be the one to say this, not Umi. Umi despises Kazuya. I don't know if he despises Kazuya. I just think Umi may think of Kazuya as inferior to him. And Umi has a superiority complex to Kazuya. Ironically, Umi's whole I love Chizuru thing is because of Kazuya. Same thing with Mami. She didn't care about Kazuya until Chizuru was in the picture. Well, no. No. Mami broke up with Kazuya specifically because she couldn't be with him. And there's a scene in chapter 3 where she defends him when the girls shit talk him. Let me find it. It's like chapter 3 or 4 or something. Kazuya runs into Mami. She acts normal. And then Mami walks away. Kibe tells him to move on. Look at what Mami's friends say to Chizuru. Or look at what Mami's friends say to her. Mami, that was your ex-boyfriend, right? Somehow it still seems like he hasn't gone over you yet, huh? Yeah, your eyes seem kind of scary. Really now? Yeah, really now is something they'd all say. She's like completely different person when it's about that type of thing. Really now? I gotta pull up the official translations. I feel like they were talking shit about Kazuya. I don't remember the details. I could have sworn they were talking shit about Kazuya. And Mami got pissed. The direct translation is, I don't want to pass her over to anyone. There we go. That was your ex. I don't think he's given up. Yeah, that's those scary eyes. Yeah. Oh, they said Kazuya has scary eyes. Haha, you a player. He's nothing to you now. Oh, really? Right? They said he's nothing to you now. Oh, really? Right? No, he does mean something to her. Kazuya always meant something to Mami. She got pissed when they shit-talked him. The reason Mami shit-talks Kazuya at the bar is because she thought he was some shallow guy after all. She got jealous. The reason she shit-talks Kazuya in the bar is because she got jealous. Mami always liked him. Mami always liked Kazuya. She broke up with him because She knew it would never work out, and she was getting attached. She breaks up with him in the same way Toru broke up with her. She uses his exact language. She literally uses Toru's exact language. Sorry, I met someone else. Let's break up. Sorry, I met someone else. Let's break up. She breaks up with Kazuya in the same exact way Toru broke up with her. Why? Because she got attached. She actually liked him. That's why. Mami didn't suddenly start liking Kazuya after Chizuru. She always had feelings. In fact, there are signs. Here. Mami at this point had broken up with... Mami at this point had gotten Kazuya to break up with Chizuru. Now notice what happens. Kazuya calls Mami, and they broke up. Mami saw them break up. She calls Kazuya and says, got it, I'll wait as long as it takes. Where should we meet? In the lobby or at the front of the hotel? I'm at the pool. I'm at the hotel pool right now. I'm waiting for you here all by myself as long as it takes. Why is she waiting for him as long as it takes? Why? She just had them break up. Isn't that what she wanted? It's almost like she actually likes him and actually wanted to be with him. In fact, that was the whole point of the live action. In the live action, Mami actually meets up with Kazuya and she tells him about her life circumstances and she acknowledges her feelings for him. And he fake dates her. And then Kazuya defends her life circumstances. And he's like, even Mami's just trying to find her happiness. Don't fucking shit talk people. Mami always liked Kazuya. Let's see. I remember when I told you that the panel was a parallel to chapter 380. I already noticed it from the start. Why can't Umi try to work with his previous relationship, Nanoho? Surely he can try to get her to reconsider to get back with him. But we don't... Did Umi break up with her? We don't know. I made the assumption she broke up with him. But maybe she had a valid reason to break up with him. Or it's the inverse. Umi actually broke up with her. In a really shitty way. So his wording in chapter 179 is actually different from the next chapter teaser in Japanese. The direct translation in chapter 79, I don't want to pass her over to anyone. Or like hand her over to anyone. Ah. So it is different. But then the teaser for the next chapter has like the wording for NTR, but removing the N in the NTR. So it's like just TR. That's why I think it's Kazuya if it actually has that wording in it. Because, you know, Kazuya right now has like that whole fear of NTR. So it makes a lot of sense for it to be him. Kazuya is good at accidentally piercing the veil in regards to other people. Kazuya's genuineness just pierces that veil. It's not accidental. Kazuya is just such a genuine person, it hits through. Like, he's just that good of a dude. He's that honest. Like, Kazuya, even at his most pathetic, at the early start of the series, was getting girls opening up to him. Hell yeah, I'm listening to Devil May Cry music. NTR equals ne sleep Tori taken away. It is Toriri token don't want next chapter's teaser. Ah. Yeah, so it seems like Kazuya. So it has the Tori taken away part don't want. That again, that seems like Kazuya. People are so funny. They're fucking copy pasting shit. Dude, Reddit is so fucking hilarious because I saw what's his name, Biff or something, literally post this exact image, and here's people just copy pasting it. Dude, listening to Devil May Cry music while talking about Rent a Girlfriend is so fucking peak. I'm literally listening to a goddamn diss track while I'm talking about Rent a Girlfriend. Let's fucking go. They're robbing Brief. Is it Brief or Biff? I don't fucking know. I especially wanted to highlight the great care of attention to detail that went into this chapter. On page 12, for example, Chizuru is standing right at the edge of the line, ready to move forward, while Umi stands in the very center. Huh. Whoa. Fascinating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Eh? Okay, let me... In page 12, Chizuru is standing right at the edge of the line. This is page 13. Ready to move forward, while Umi is standing in the very center between the things. Then, at the end of her dialogue, she walks away along a clear, open path. Nice. Whereas Umi is left standing in front of a strapede, uncertain road that awaits him. This aligns perfectly with the title of the chapter, but also gives a glimpse into Umi's state of mind at the moment. Chizuru has unburdened herself here, and once again proved that Umi didn't stand a chance, not even the slightest. It's yet another chance. It's yet another instance of recurring patterns where Umi shows up, he inadvertently pushes the main relationship forward. In any case, this chapter is a real treat for those who pay attention to image composition. Yeah, I agree. That's a great catch. Yeah, that's a great catch. Chizuru is literally standing at the edge of a line. Umi is at the center, right? And then Umi is left standing, no clear path on where to go, right? Chizuru has a very clear path ahead of her. Umi doesn't. Let's see. I agree. This chapter was a visual treat. Amongst the contrast of the date rejections are Umi's hot, courty style and almost Zoolander-type poses versus Kazuya's Porter clothing. That he didn't directly face Chizuru as she addressed him with his rejection says a lot about Umi as a character. He's generously facing away from Chizuru, giving the impression his interest lies in the pursuit and not in the end goal. Ooh. On page 6, where Chizuru offers her Retsuri bow, we have Umi's point of view, and he observes her hair almost as to scrutinize whether or not it meets his standard. Rather than actually care about the position he's in, he's more interested in her hair. His vocus sort are Umi. I feel like that's a little like... I can kind of see it, right? I can kind of see it. Does this meet his standard? Right? Again, kind of like a godlike figure. So, yeah. I can kind of see that. I had the exact same thought on the previous chapter. He is interested in the pursuit, not the end goal. I had the same exact thought in the previous chapter. Umi doesn't want to be hit with reality. He just wants to keep loving Chizuru a little longer. It's interesting how that mirrors what Kazuya said after getting rejected by Chizuru. It mirrors, but it's different. Kazuya wants to keep loving her because she matters to him that much. Umi just wants to keep loving her out of a selfish pursuit. He doesn't actually want the end goal. He doesn't actually want to be with her. He doesn't actually care about that. He doesn't actually love her. What Umi wants is to keep having this feeling that he could love her, that he could have love. He's pretending. He doesn't actually love her. In Kazuya's case, he just can't help loving Chizuru even when she pushes him away, and he confessed that honestly, just like she's been honest with him. In Umi's case, he just wants to prolong the experience of admiring someone, no matter if that person wants to be a part of that or not. Umi's love for Chizuru is shallow, a reflection of the world he lives in. But I don't think the author wants to paint him as a villain. To me, he feels more like a child trying to act grown up. I said this! I fucking said this! Nothing but a farce, a mere act of a relationship, not a real one. Acting out love, not actually experiencing or feeling it. Umi merely sees Chizuru as his muse, something that he may prove he is superior to Kazuya. He is but a child pretending to know love. But who really struggles with being told? Okay. To me, he feels more like a child trying to act grown up, but who really struggles with being told no. The fact that he wants to contact Kazuya shows he's having trouble letting go. But we still don't know enough about his true intentions, so for now, it's hard to tell what he plans to do with Kazuya. Is he going to play dirty and lie about Chizuru to manipulate him? Is he just looking for information to understand what kind of guy she chose? Is he going to lose it and insult him? Or maybe he'll realize how ridiculous this is and hang up. So many possibilities. Rather than actually care about the position he's in, he's more interested in her hair. That felt weird to me too. He can't just stay indifferent when the woman you love is put in an embarrassing position partially because of you. The moment touched Kazuya deeply, it bruised Umi's ego. Chizuru was absolutely right not to give him a chance. Yeah, Umi doesn't actually fucking love her. He doesn't. It just literally, it's just about Umi's fucking ego. That's a great way of putting it. Right here, the way he looks at her, he almost seems like disappointed. Right? It literally almost feels like he's disappointed. Like, huh? Is that what happened? Right? He doesn't even look sad. Right? He doesn't even look sad that he's being turned down. That's weird. Look at Kazuya's reaction when Chizuru's turning him down. Versus Umi's reaction. Kazuya gets mad. Like, Kazuya gets upset. He has a lot of emotions and he's trying to keep them in check. This is Kazuya's reaction and this is Umi's reaction. Right? This is a man in love and he just got turned down. Look at this dude's not in love. This dude is not in love. Right? Kazuya has so much emotions you need to fucking contain. Right? Umi doesn't actually love Chizuru. Right? Kazuya's emotions are about to fucking explode. Umi's aren't. It's almost, he feels emotionless. This isn't an act. His entire life is an act. And that's terrifying. Never doubt Chizuru for a second. Never doubted Chizuru for a second. Did I think Reiji might have her do something that looks bad? Sure. Am I relieved that he didn't? Absolutely. She loves that boy, simple as is. Anyway, absolute queen shit this week. Love it. It's a rejection, clear and unequivocal one. Compare this to the rejection at the end of the day. Saying no to Kazuya emotionally destroyed her. This, in comparison, a literal walk in the park. Quite a stark difference between I think I love you and I want to marry you, but I can't wear the ring yet, and I don't see you that way. I'm not what you think I am. I'm in love with someone else. Also, quite a telling contrast between Umi being rejected and asking about Kazuya, seemingly worried about being embarrassed, versus Kazuya being rejected and reassuring Chizuru that her feelings are what matter. What a king. Yeah, that's literally what I said, right? Umi, when he gets rejected, he asks about Kazuya, right? It's about him, right? It's about him. It's selfish. What does Kazuya do? Right? I showed you guys this. What is the first thing Kazuya do? These things happen sometimes. I guess I'm just happy to hear that you feel so strongly about it. Hang in there. I need to hold it together. I can tell how hard you've thought about it. Anyway, we should get going. Right? Kazuya's just happy that she felt something. Kazuya's just, it puts her feelings first. In the walk home, it's the same thing. Right? In the walk home, literally the same thing. Don't worry about it. You're not heavy at all. Staying in shape must be tough. No worries. Your feelings are what's important. That's life, you know. Come on, what are you talking about? It's not your fault you got a blister. Plus, I just couldn't stand seeing you like that. Remember what I said? I'll wait however long it takes. I've been thinking you believed in me back then, Mizuhara, so maybe it's my turn this time. Also, you know, I don't think it's possible for me to love, in my lifetime, to love anyone more than I love you. So sorry, I'm sorry. Like, bro. He addresses her feelings. He acknowledges her feelings, but stays true to his own feelings and doesn't reject himself. In so doing, empowering her not to reject herself. He gives her strength. He accepts her. He literally carries her home. Umi? What does Umi do? He puts himself first. Oh, did you guys get closer? It's like he knows he never had a chance. It's about him. It's selfish. Let's see. I still think a part of the delay in finally rejecting Umi, aside from his running away from the rejection like a coward, was less about having feelings for him, she doesn't, lol, and more about not wanting to potentially lose someone she had at one point considered a good friend. I think it's more about autonomy. Umi just kept dictating the pace, and Chizuru took that control back. Things have changed. She finally believes that she can have what she wants now, and that's simply the most important thing to her. Time to rip off the band-aid. Good on her. Cut to Kazuya, who's struggling with job hunting stuff. He's unorganized and having trouble with seemingly minor tasks until he remembers the movie production. He produced a fucking film. The real him can handle anything, especially after remembering the kiss if he's doing it for her. Brilliant cliffhanger. Phone rings and it's Umi. Umi doesn't look really bad. Umi does look really bad here. I just kind of want a he's not as bad as we think. The truth is somewhere in the middle reveal. I want you to be happy, but I prefer it was with me. Isn't entirely awful, but the end undermines the beginning. This means that this man has known it was a no for over a year, and while I can't blame him for being curious, it's none of his business if there is someone else. We'll have to see what he does next. This upcoming conversation, if it happens, could be really fun. I'm hoping it's positive. If he's not lying about wanting Chizuru to be happy, it could be. Lots of speculation, even from me, and perhaps the final Umi rejection already happened off-panel and this was going to be something else, but really I'm glad it isn't. While the fact that we weren't always following Chizuru leaves gaps for events to fit into, rejecting Bachelor number 2 is too important not to show, even if he never had a chance. I really like that Kazuya scene too. He's finally remembering what he's capable of when he's motivated. While he should be able to take action for himself, his love for Chizuru is what inspires him to greatness. He just needs to remember what he is a world-beating ass kicker. Glad he remembered the movie. Really like the idea of him going into a media production. He already has a producer credit or an independent film under his belt. Pretty good start to his resume. Would not mind if the movie came up again. Now another week of everyone freaking out about Umi. This time, Ari, what is he gonna say to Kazuya? I'm ready for don't fuck this up talk, but a fight could be really fun too. It seems like Umi may start some shit, but we don't know. This is only if Kazuya actually answers the phone. He's let an uncomfortable call go to voicemail in the past because he was so focused on Chizuru. Kazuya reaches for the phone and is interrupted by the knock on the door. It's probably too much to hope in this that his dream is coming true right away, huh? Could explain the fancy lingerie though. Nah. Anyway, wild theory time. I think Chizuru also has a list. In fact, I think it's very similar to Kazuya's. She knows why she rejected Kazuya, and her half of this arc is going to be her addressing the reasons, or at least the ones she can on her own. Meanwhile, as we've seen today, Kazuya's list, which seems a bit vague and unfocused, will come into focus as he works on it. When Kazuya believes he's ready and he's gearing up to shoot his shot again, Chizuru will surprise him. She's put in the work too. She wants to be more appealing for him. She wants to do so well with this play that it will raise her profile and let her get into better acting jobs so she can quit rental. She wants to take him out on a perfect date, and most importantly, she wants to give him the perfect confession. Else she may even call him by his name. See, I think that's true, but the only thing I'm not certain about is the play. That's the only thing I'm not certain about. Right? I don't know much about the play. I need a little more about the play to say that that's the thing. I don't know. I'm just not gonna assume yet. I do think Chizuru does have a list. I think I said this too. I think it would be great if Kazuya and Chizuru confront Ruka together. While Kazuya is the one who is in his trial, Chizuru talked him into it. In my honest opinion, the thing could fix together. Yeah, I said this too. A serious post. No, we were not. That probably surprised me more than anything. Apologies again for everyone who I tormented with my delusions over the past week. Feel free to laugh at me over there and keep the serious discussions on the actual plot. I'll still give you the analysis for the best of my abilities. Chizuru tells Umi that she already has her answer and that she can't think of him in that way. She apologizes, no long speech, just straight and clear rejection. It isn't ambiguous. There isn't a maybe. There's no not yet. She also doesn't look like she's about to cry, even though the situation is so similar. The difference in Kazuya's rejection couldn't be greater. Umi doesn't take it nearly as well as Kazuya. While thinking of the kiss, Chizuru confirms when Umi asks if she and him got closer. But she also told Umi that she isn't dating Kazuya. Even though he says that he doesn't want to be lame by acting jealous, Umi still acts jealous. He tells Chizuru that whoever she decides to be with must be a great guy and that it will be enough for him if being that person makes her happy. You also see if we'll see if he means that, I guess. He just hopes that the person would be him. Chizuru says that she isn't the person Umi thinks she is. This here has nothing to do with choosing a great guy or understanding what makes her happy. She isn't in control of any of that. She rejects Kazuya, and that choice did nothing. Kazuya didn't give up on her, and her own desires to be with him stayed. Their feelings did not change. She tells Umi that she might be in love right now. She uses koi here. It's more explicit than what she told Kazuya, but she's still not sure about her feelings. She is in way too deep. She's in way too deep, though. She told Sumi on her birthday that she wanted to try to face Kazuya wholeheartedly. She tells Umi here that she wants to face Kazuya wholeheartedly, the teaser. Since her choices didn't actually matter, it seems like there's no other way but to see this through to the end. If the end result is clear already, she can only do her best to take the shortest path. Chizuru leaves Umi standing there. We switch to Kazuya instead. He has requested everything possible from his internships to full-time jobs to give himself the most options. But now he's overwhelmed by the amount of information. He wonders if he'll even be able to read everything to know what his choices are. As he contemplates putting everything into folders, he notices the folders from the movie production. Everything is well structured and neatly ordered there. Kazuya is reminded that he can do this if he puts his mind to it. He tries to invoke the same mentality by telling himself that he's doing this for Chizuru. Just then, he receives a call from Umi. What next? The user for next time is I don't want her to be taken away. It is not said who or what is being taken away, but since this is probably about a call between Umi and Kazuya, it's likely that it will refer to Chizuru. It is not clear who will say or think that. It seems neither of the two guys is willing to just leave Chizuru to the other one. I absolutely can't say how this call will go. Umi couldn't be either a friend or a foe. If Umi declared a rival, I think it could be awaken Kazuya's fighting spirit. He shouldn't leave Chizuru to Umi for the next 1.5 months. Not that Umi actually has a chance, but Kazuya won't know that without either Umi or Chizuru telling him. Let's talk about Chizuru for a bit. She seemed determined. I wonder about the play since it didn't seem like this was her current main focus, despite what she told Minnie. She still didn't contact Kazuya. She might want to wait until she is ready. Rejecting Umi might have been one step on that way. If she needs more help to figure out her feelings, she might ask Sumi or even Harumi. I thought she would talk to Sumi too. I think Sumi might be next on Chizuru's list, which makes a lot of sense. Umi was like a big problem that Chizuru wanted to address. It seems like Sumi might be next. She might talk to Kibe. She might talk to Harumi. She might talk to Nagomi. I think Chizuru may even talk to Mami. I think there's even a chance Chizuru might even talk to Mami, because Mami was part of Chizuru's feelings. Mami was connected to Chizuru's feelings, so Chizuru talking to Mami is completely possible. I actually think that could very well be on her list. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think Sumi could be next. I don't know if Chizuru would want to face Ruka yet. I think Chizuru would only face Ruka if she was certain. So I don't think Chizuru would face Ruka yet. She even said she doesn't want to face Ruka if she's not certain. But I think that Sumi could very well be next, and I think Mami is probably on that list too. Rejecting Umi may have been one step in that way. If she needed more help to figure out her feelings, Sumi or Harumi, I could only see her wanting to confront Ruka since she wanted to tell her before. She could also just contact Kazuya, of course. That's enough for now. I don't have a good track record of predictions anyway. There's been some different nuances in Japanese version than the English translation when she told Umi about her current stance. English version says, I think that's where I'm at. Whereas in the Japanese version, she says, surely that's where I'm at. Not sure how that makes much difference, but Japanese version sounds she's just a little bit more certain than it sounds in English version about her feelings. She also says, I might be able to fall in love, not in love. Again, just a bit difference in nuance, but not much probably. What Kazuya needs to know is that it's not important Umi declares war against him or not. He's not the rival for him in the first place. Nothing to be afraid of. It's his opportunity to overcome his sense of inferiority and build stronger trust with Chizuru. Like everyone here believed Chizuru's heart is only leaning towards Kazuya. This is really interesting to know. I had a feeling that the English translation wasn't completely correct. I don't know Japanese though. Chizuru was being too wishy-washy with her words despite all the chapters being about setting permanent unbreakable barriers and bounds. This makes a lot of difference, as Chizuru explicitly telling some external that she's done running away. This changes everything, I think. If I understood you correctly, it's not about deciding if she's in love or not. She already knows she is, but about facing her feelings. It's a huge difference from her usual attitude of endless denial and hiding. Chizuru isn't just... I don't know. I don't like that. Chizuru wasn't endlessly in denial and hiding. She literally was just confused. I'm very much against this stance that Chizuru was just endlessly hiding and running away. Chizuru was literally just fucking confused. She wasn't hiding the whole time. She was just literally fucking confused. I agree Umi opens up a lot of possibilities for Kazuya to overcome some of his weaknesses. Yeah, I do agree that this is explicitly more clear that Chizuru knows she's in that feeling, right? Chizuru knows she's in that feeling. That I do agree on it being explicitly more clear. I agree Umi opens up a whole lot of possibilities for Kazuya to overcome some of his weaknesses. Umi could be used to show how much he's really worth. He trusts Chizuru, but with how cryptic and coward she likes to be, it's normal he keeps doubting himself. Knowing what happened might give him a push in the correct direction, more like many ever did. Chizuru, okay. Chizuru isn't that cowardly, dude. She is a little cryptic, but she's not that cowardly, dude. She literally just tries to take responsibility how she can. That's the thing I thought about in the Jast when she said, I did it, in the Japanese version, which was translated, geez, I can't believe I did it. Oh. That makes so much more sense. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Chizuru here says, oh, geez, I can't believe I did that. In the Japanese, she says, what is it? I did it. Like she wanted to the whole fucking time. Bruh. Never stop. Are you here? Never stop. Are you here? Can you check chapter 392? What did Chizuru say here? in Japanese? What did Chizuru say in chapter 392's ending in Japanese? Because I swear to God, if they mistranslated it, I swear to fucking God. In the Japanese version, it sounded more like I finally did it. Oh my... Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Now I'm just pissed. That she's regretting it? She sounded like she's regretting it? Or like wait. What's the intent of the words? What's the intent of the words? You're kind of being confusing. Okay, everyone else shut the fuck up. No. I need everyone else to shut the fuck up. Everyone else, please shut up. Never stop speak. Never stop. What is the intent in the Japanese? What is the intent in the Japanese? Oh boy. It seems I will be waiting. I said it sounded a bit more negatively, as if she said she's regretting kissing Kazuya. Why does it sound more negative? Let me take a look at the chapter again. Okay, please do so. I'd like to know if it is negative or not, because I feel like I did it is very different from geez, I can't believe I did that. In English, it sounds bad. Yes. In English, it sounds like she's regretting it. Yeah, in English, it sounds regretful. But the way it's being described in Japanese doesn't. The English translation sounded so much more negative than I thought the writer was trying to say. Maybe it's the same here. God damn it, dude. Hey, these details are really good, very important. I'm wondering if there's a difference in the translations. Is it a mistake or a different criteria for qualifying vocabulary? And actually, no, maybe the translators are not able to grasp every single nuance of the Japanese when translating English. Well, this is true. This has happened before. So let me show you guys another example. I've mentioned this one in the past. In chapter 365... and 365, they fuck up a translation issue in the English. In the Japanese, it sounds like I actually did it. So not, geez, I can't believe I did that. It sounds more like I actually did it, or I really did it. That completely changes the tone. That's completely different. It's not regretful. Oh my God, that's completely different. That's literally her saying, I finally did the thing I wanted to do. Oh my God. Bro, you can't fucking do this shit. Yo, no, okay. In the future, it's more aligned with her stance in this chapter. Yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. Now I'm just pissed. This is just bad translation. It's misleading. Dude, this was so much of my basis for my stupid fucking analysis. This was so much of my basis for my stupid fucking analysis. Dude, this is poorly translated. There's no other way to look at it. This reminds me of when they fucked up this. In chapter 365, Chizuru is telling Kazuya, there's a euphemism here. Chizuru's entire stance around cheating is around feelings, right? Chizuru's entire stance around cheating is feelings. So when she tells Kazuya, thank you for showing me that you're serious, she uses a euphemism in Japanese. So she says, thank you for making me feel that you're serious. She can't actually see it. Her eyes are literally closed. She can't actually see it. He just made her feel that that Kazuya was serious. She can't actually see it, so it literally aligns with her stance more. That seems small, but it actually makes a lot of sense on Chizuru's characterization. And it aligns perfectly with her visual eyes. She can't see it, she just feels it. It seems like they're really bad at catching nuance. Right? I think these translators are decent. They're better than the official translations, but they're really shit with nuance. They're really fucking bad with nuance. This feels like it needs its own video. No, this is bad. This feels like I'm doubtful if they use AI for... No, it's not AI. You can tell. It's not AI. No. They're just bad at... They're bad at catching nuance. It shows an experience. We saw this in, for instance... So when they initially started, in chapter 281, which is when they first started translating, when Chizuru sings this song... Let me find it. When Chizuru sings this song, this translation's garbage. Because they couldn't translate the nuance of the song. This song doesn't translate well into English, and they couldn't translate it well, so they translated it like this. And people didn't know what the fuck the song was. And then a Japanese reader found it. It's like an old folk song from the prefecture where Razor lives. That's where the song is from. And it's meant to parallel Chizuru's actions that she does not see herself. The whole point of this song that Chizuru is singing here is that it's about a spider that saves a person who fell into a well. And it's a big spider, and you think the spider's gonna fucking kill him. The spider just picks him up, drops him off, and then leaves. And that's meant to mirror Chizuru, who picks up a spider and then drops it and lets it go. You think she's gonna kill the spider. She doesn't kill the spider. That's the whole point of the song, and Chizuru doesn't know its origins, just as she doesn't know what she herself is doing. Yeah, there's... Oh, man, that sucks, dude. Dude. Fuck this shit. I'm so pissed. Must have been a huntsman spider. It was like a big black spider. It was a big black spider. It just looked dangerous. Seems to me the translators probably just treated it as a job, not someone with passion or remote interest with the manga. Hence, they don't give a damn about the stupid translations. Oh, that's very common. For instance, the Spanish translators actively shit talk this manga. The Spanish translators literally actively shit talk this manga, like regularly. Like I've seen them shit talk this manga a lot. The voice, what is it? The English dubbing team. Like I've seen Alex Lee shit talk the shit out of this manga. Like he actively makes fun of it. Alex Lee, the dub voice cast for Kazuya, is not passionate about this manga. Not even a little bit. I don't think so. I've seen him passionate. I've seen him passionate about shit, and I don't think he's passionate about this story at all. A lot of people just treat this story like busy work. I don't know if this applies to these translators. I think they do care, but they just don't delve into the nuance. They don't actually give it a true full effort. They just do a good enough job. And that blows. So you also need to read the potential annotations when she speaks and she's saying in a calm tone, not like she's lamenting what she did. Yeah. You need to also read the potential annotation when she speaks and she is saying it in a calm tone, not like she's lamenting what she did. Yeah. Chizuru in this scene... Damn it. Let's pull it up. Yeah, Chizuru in this scene in chapter 392 is not lamenting her actions and what she did. Rather, she says it in a calm tone, right? She's actually in control, and she says, I did it. As if to imply that she finally did this thing. I actually did it. I really did it. Something like that. God, that's... Okay. Never stop. I'm gonna need your help in the future to double check some of this shit, because this is a problem. There's another case of this in here in this chapter. Right here, when Chizuru says apparently she was a very popular girl, Chizuru says that her mom had a bunch of lovers. She uses the words for she had a lot of lovers. She's not just saying a very popular girl. No. Her mom had a lot of lovers. That's what Chizuru is saying. Right? It almost seems like Chizuru's mom was very not committal. But here it's just phrased as she was a very popular girl, which, doesn't really tell you the intent of what the story's fucking saying. The meaning is lost. What the fuck? Seems like AI. What the fuck? Chizuru's answer to the question Asya asked. No, Reiji said that when Chizuru rejected Kazuya in chapter 380, it was literally Chizuru not thinking she didn't feel in love, so she just didn't hold back. She wasn't gonna sugarcoat it. She was just gonna be honest. She couldn't take pity on him. She had to be straight with him. "380 was her answer to the question Kazuya asked in chapter 238. Did the kiss mean anything beyond protecting on a lie? Meanwhile, her rejection to Umi in this chapter was the answer to his question from chapter 126. Do you love that guy or what? Chizuru has never been good at understanding her emotions. That's why she often tries to answer questions she herself isn't sure about, as shown when she made a lot of questions to Kazuya on their date. When facing Kazuya, she was fully aware that she had no regrets about kissing him, yet at the same time, she admitted that the kiss might not have come from her true feelings, since there were too many complicated factors at play back then. She gave many reasons to justify her hesitation: her lifestyle, her career, and the guilt she carried for lying to her family. In short, what Chizuru wanted to say was this: her feelings for Kazuya might indeed be love, but they aren't strong enough to overcome these barriers. No, that's not what she said. No, that's not what she said. No, you're putting words in her mouth. You're putting words in her mouth. No. That's not what she said. She is saying those things are a burden to him. She thinks she's burdening him. No. She thinks she's burdening him. That's the phrasing. That's how she fucking says it. However, what happened afterwards changed her perspective. She once thought rejecting Kazuya was the right way to respond to his sincerity, but she was mistaken. Even after being turned down, Kazuya stayed by her side, kept helping her, and reaffirmed that his feelings for her had not changed. He didn't demand anything from her. He simply asked for permission to love her just a little longer. He fully accepted her decision and was even willing to wait her forever. But Chizuru wanted to reject him was not for him to wait, so she only wanted him to find happiness, something she believed she could not give him. Okay, I can agree with that. At the moment of parting, she kissed him. Many people see this as a sudden impulse, but I believe Chizuru was deliberately seeking an answer for herself in that moment. No, that was her answer. I think that was her answer. In that moment, free from any external pressure, she believed that if she initiated the kiss, she would finally understand her own feelings. And indeed, she realized that her emotions for Kazuya were completely real. After landing her new role, Chizuru made the firm declaration that she would not have a boyfriend until her performance was finished. She placed her trust in Kazuya's promise and asked him to wait just a little longer. Before facing him again, she wanted to resolve all of her unfinished business, starting with settling lingering matters with Umi once and for all. Unlike with Kazuya, this time she had a clear answer. While the question about the meaning of the kiss was complicated, the question of whether she loved Kazuya or not was far simpler. And now Chizuru could finally acknowledge she may be in love right now, and she wants to face that person wholeheartedly. Chizuru also admitted that she didn't know what could truly make her happy, nor could she choose a so-called great man. In reality, she was reflecting on her relationship with Kazuya. She knew very well that Kazuya was not a great... No. I don't agree with this. No. She literally calls Kazuya a great guy. That's that's a really stupid thing to say. She literally calls Kazuya a great guy. She literally calls Kazuya a great guy. What she's saying is it's not about picking a great guy. It's something else. That's not what it's about. It's not about picking a great guy. It's about a relationship, a bond. She knew very well, blah, 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 Zumi described, but being him allowed her to be her true self, a girl full of flaws and insecurities. She knew with certainty that Kazuya could never abandon her because of those flaws. In short, Chizuru answered Umi with the purest and most genuine feelings. She may have fallen in love with Kazuya for who he truly is, and she wants to face that love wholeheartedly. For now, this doesn't necessarily mean Chizuru's ready to accept Kazuya becoming... She doesn't accept becoming Kazuya's girlfriend. There will surely come a moment when both realize that the greatest weakness in their relationship is communication. No matter how sincere their feelings are, without communication, misunderstandings and conflicts will inevitably arise. But this is also exactly what Chizuru once expressed. She wants a relationship where even if there are conflicts and clashes, as long as they talk through everything, it can be resolved. I believe the next chapter will give her the opportunity to finally experience this. Okay. Well, I don't agree with everything, but they had some good points. I'm not going to read all that. Most important part of the chapter. I just can't think of you that way. She cannot resonate with him putting someone on a pedestal because they are successful who achieve their goals. She put people on a pedestal for being hardworking dream chasers, choosing a great guy, being happy. She only have might and doesn't know if she could give or pursue it. She works hard in her own way, and not being happy when she's following what she dreams of, and how, but not only the following the dream. She feels far from all right, but still can't change how she just wants to follow what she wants. She can't resonate with someone who does what's best to achieve their goals, say what's needed, take every opportunity, but have a dream to follow and just work hard for it regardless if they succeed. She can't resonate with the idea of being successful, achieve their goal. Okay, this person's writing kind of weird. I can't understand them. Okay. I think we... Let me read what everyone is saying. Oh my god. There's a whole lot of messages here. In 392, Chizuru says, quite a woman with a lot of love. This can be translated as, it seems she was quite the romantic, doesn't it? No. A Japanese reader literally says Chizuru's mom had a lot of lovers. She literally uses the phrase, she had a lot of lovers. Literally, the phrasing of the dialogue is literally lots of lovers. Chizuru's mom had a lot of relationships. She felt her feelings weren't equal to Kazuya's. Instead of entering a relationship with him and ending it in a breakup that would only hurt him more, she felt the best thing to do was to reject him. Yeah, I can kind of see that. So this is why we should always be very leery with each new chapter dialogues. They can be misleading. Yeah. Well, Never Stop is here to help, so that's good. Okay, let me read my thing last, and then I might call it a night. There's some good stuff here. I think there's some good stuff we're talking about. How can you say you love someone when you don't really see them? 395 is all about creating creating clear lines. Chizuru rejecting Umi, facing Kazuya wholeheartedly, and even Umi calling Kazuya on the goddamn Line app. I still think that shit's so fucking funny. That shit is so fucking funny that Reiji calls the chapters drawing a line, and then at the end of the chapter, it's literally Umi using Line to call Kazuya. Also, who noticed what I did here? Who noticed what I did here? These are two separate images. I literally drew a line. Nobody said anything about this. Come on. I literally drew a line. Nobody said a damn thing about this. Fuck all of you. Nobody fucking noticed it. Firstly, why did it take Chizuru so long to face Umi? Well, we don't have a complete answer, but I think it's because Umi always dictated the flow. Right? Umi always controlled the situation. Chizuru never probably had control of the situation, right? She couldn't face him honestly. Umi always controlled the flow, and Chizuru was ready to reject him in the past, but Umi always controlled the situation. Chizuru never properly had control of the situation, right? So this stopped her from rejecting him. A huge part of the story right now is autonomy, and Chizuru seems ready to take her autonomy back. Hawaiians is an arc about robbing characters of autonomy, as Mami was robbed of a life. Much of what happens after is characters holding back. First, unable to move, then slowly taking step by step to move again, with the date being the big step Chizuru needed to take. Right, so Chizuru literally couldn't fight back against Mami initially, right? She literally couldn't move, right? The only reason Chizuru was able to move in Hawaiians is because of Kazuya and everyone else's actions, right? She froze. After Hawaiians, literally can't move. Literally froze. She needed Minnie to snap her the fuck out of it. After she moves, she literally wants to hold Kazuya's hand and she can't. Then finally, she barely, through Minnie's help, gets Kazuya to live with her. And she creates a whole bunch of boundaries so he feels comfortable. She can't say it directly to him. She doesn't feel strong enough to say it directly to him, but she does have to control the situation in a little bit. In the date, Chizuru had to make a big decision, or at least she felt she did. She had a month to figure out her feelings, but she couldn't. She got a blister and then got carried by the guy she just rejected. But he believed in her, continuing to love her in rejection. Kazuya's actions that night gave Chizuru back her autonomy because Kazuya began reclaiming and fighting for his own feelings. This, I believe, is where Chizuru truly began reclaiming the life she lost after Sayuri died. Up to that point, Chizuru had been in a fog, lost and forgetting. Right? I really want you to notice the contrast between the scene with Sumi and the scene with Umi. Right? The scene with Sumi, look at Chizuru. She literally looks like she's in a fog. She literally looks like she's in a haze. Right? And they're always on my mind, right? Literally, like Kazuya is literally piercing through her mind. In contrast, look at this. There's a certainty to this. There's a calm, there's an awareness. Chizuru couldn't truly control the pace of her own life, forgetting Sumi and herself, needing Minnie to help her, unable to figure her feelings out or face Ruka, struggling to even get Kazuya to stay with her. Umi was no different. She couldn't reject him because he kept running away. He dictated the pace. Chizuru kissing Kazuya was her taking that autonomy back symbolically. This was an act of choice she herself made. That's not the meaning of the kiss, mind you, but it being a choice she made is an important part. After this, two contrasting things happen with Chizuru. On one hand, she waits for Kazuya to return. On the other, she refuses to let Minnie dictate her flow any longer. Right? Minnie can't dictate her pace anymore. She walls Minnie out. In that sense, has Chizuru truly reclaimed her autonomy, or merely taken some and let another dictate her pace? Does she truly control her feelings? Right? She lets Kazuya control the situation, right? By waiting for him. In contrast, she completely controls the situation with Minnie and doesn't give her a fucking inch. Does Chizuru truly have control? Or doesn't she? In a way, does this not align with Kazuya's words? What if she changed her mind again? Chizuru isn't changing her mind, but struggles to control her life. She then receives a call from her manager, a possible reminder, a fateful moment that reminded her of what she wanted. The fateful day is a two-parter, right? The fateful day is a two-parter. And it doesn't make sense that it's a two-parter, right? It feels like there's more at play. I think the fateful event that happened that led to the fateful day, which is July 11th, is literally that call. That call was like a reminder, I think. It was a fateful moment that kind of helped Chizuru in that particular direction towards her fateful day, right? And then literally the July 11th is representing Chizuru's own choices, Chizuru's complete control. Simply by the information Chizuru presented to Minnie in chapter 390, did the call not theoretically derail Chizuru's goal with Kazuya, right? She's doing the play now instead of facing him. Or did it? Minnie in 390 shows up to push Chizuru to move, but Chizuru doesn't budge. She does not do what she is told. She chooses her own path. Right? And some people on Reddit said something similar to this, right? Chizuru seemingly knows what she wants to do. She knows she needs to face some shit, confront some issues, and she's trusting Kazuya's promise to wait. And she's using that time to get some shit done, right? Now, she doesn't tell this to Kazuya. Why? We don't know, right? We don't know why she didn't tell Kazuya. We don't know why she used Minnie. Chizuru clearly used Minnie here. Minnie showed up, and Chizuru used her. Right? Minnie was going to show up, so Chizuru used her to literally deliver a message. In a sense, she used D-mail, right? She created this new timeline, if you will. Okay? You can tell Chizuru is freaking terrified when Minnie comes up to her. Minnie is the kind of character that can easily have you humming to the beat of her drum. She's loud and quite energetic. Chizuru also said in the date that she has a hard time saying no to people. When Minnie shows up, Chizuru freaks. You can see her freak. Chizuru in the date literally says, I have a hard time saying no to people. Now, let's bring this back to Umi. Umi gets Chizuru to bring Kazuya to the party. He confesses and then stops her from answering. He shows up at her house, controls the whole pace, and then even isolates her to confess again. Chizuru was trying to reject him, but yet again, he stops her, right? A repeating motif of Umi constantly having control of the situation. I also want you to notice how when he says, that's how much you mean to me, Chizuru-chan, his eyes are closed. He doesn't actually see her. Those are his feelings, yes, so you peek behind the bangs, you peek behind the curtain. But he is ultimately blind to the person he claims to love. His control is meaningless. His love seemingly amounts to nothing. What does Chizuru do after this? She takes a step towards her feelings for Kazuya, to take control back. Umi fighting for his feelings made Chizuru want to fight for hers. She realized she needed to move. To fight this, she has to control her own life, not let it be controlled. This scene is later mirrored by Kazuya, who tells Chizuru he meant what he said on the walk home. This results in a change so massive that it completely flips everything over. Chizuru kisses Kazuya. This shows how Kazuya sees Chizuru, but also how much influence his actions truly have. But this is still a change, in part, created by someone else. Chizuru facilitated the situation through her inaction. Kazuya is the one who made the move, and Chizuru responded. Chizuru is still reacting to Kazuya. She has been for a while. She isn't facing him wholeheartedly. Nothing better reflects this than Chizuru being unable to text Kazuya. She's terrified to face him, just as he's afraid to face her. Both deeply fear rejection and true change, just in reverse ways. Kazuya thinking his feelings are not enough, Chizuru in not doing enough for her feelings, and not being able to give back enough. Chizuru is trying to truly face Kazuya now, look at him completely. So first, she has to face Umi and control the scenario, not be controlled. This is best depicted in Umi controlling the entire futsal game, losing control when passing the ball to Chizuru, but she takes control back and scores. Umi, when playing futsal, is depicted as a pro at controlling the ball. When he controls the whole game, even down to who gets to score in the end. Chizuru, in contrast, does not control the game, but herself, her choices, her actions. She does not seek absolute control, just her own life. This is best depicted in her clothing. Chizuru clothes with literal straight lines, subtle not to attract unwanted attention, but clearly conveys serious intent. Chizuru is here to draw a clear line, and she does not plan to be swayed into Umi's flow, even when literally playing his game. Umi, in his usual fashion, tries to take control of the conversation, praising Chizuru in an attempt to avoid the talk. But notice where they are. He's literally at the end of the road. He has nowhere to go. He can't escape anymore. There's no way out of this. He has to take this. This is meant to mirror Kazuya on the date. See, in the date, Kazuya was emulating Umi without truly realizing it. And like Umi, he eventually reached the end of his path. He couldn't run anymore. He had to get rejected to snap out of it and start being himself, not Umi. This seems to be a big part of the story. I think. Kazuya separating himself from Umi's existence and influence on his choices, whether it be the phone case, Chizuru's acting career, or even the sea life he loves so much. Umi seemingly controls all of it, and Kazuya needs to take it back. Now, there's already a lot of differences between Kazuya and Umi. Even when Kazuya is emulating Umi, for instance, notice Umi's body language. Okay, let me read that again. Now, there's already a lot of differences between Kazuya and Umi. Even when Kazuya is emulating Umi. For instance, notice Umi's body language. He doesn't fully face Chizuru. One leg is pointed towards her and one is out. One arm is free and one arm is in his pocket. It's not honest. This doesn't simply highlight Umi's lack of presence, but rather a deeper issue. Umi has not truly looked at Chizuru. He doesn't see her or even his own feelings, honestly. His praise for her reflects this. It's not Chizuru. He only sees what she appears to have, not what she does not. Umi sees Chizuru as an equal, quote unquote. He doesn't see those below him. One may interpret this as having standards, but I would argue it's choosing to see what you want to see, not valuing those around you who may not excel where you do, but they could surpass you tenfold in other areas. The nursery arc perfectly represents this. Chizuru is an amazing actress and a hard worker, but she's got nothing on Kazuya when it comes to handling kids and playing kids games. Dude outclasses her so much that she doesn't even have a chance unless she trains a whole bunch. I think the way Umi sees Chizuru is as his muse, a person whose presence, qualities, or charisma sparks his drive to do his best, inspires him. But that can be anyone. This can exist without romantic love. Love is different from admiration. It is a deep bond shared between two people. A lover is defined by a deep emotional, spiritual, and physical connection with a desire for intimacy in a shared life. Umi is not any of those things. He's not present in Chizuru's life. He doesn't truly know her. He merely sees her as a perfect person who is on his level. This is perfectly portrayed by Reiji in Umi's bangs covering one of his eyes. He literally only sees a part of the picture, not a whole. This matches Nagomi before Hawaiians. We already talked about how it's a little different. It's not quite like Nagomi, Which is why Umi's line mirrors Nagomi to Ruka in chapter 204. Nagomi viewing Chizuru as perfect, like him. Nagomi is a character very much blinded by appearances, to some degree, not completely. It's why she's so harsh on Kazuya. She even realizes she's been terrible to him for those exact reasons, and she did the same to Chizuru when she assumed the worst of her because of her job. She got caught up in appearances. Nagomi learned this lesson the hard way. Even in her old age, she had to realize she had preconceived notions about Chizuru's job, and in her blind love for Chizuru's perfection, she couldn't actually accept a flawed girl who's just trying her best every day. She had to have faith, and then she learned and saw Chizuru and started having more faith in her. And so when Umi yet again says he loves Chizuru, it doesn't mean much to Chizuru. She is in shadow. She doesn't feel seen at all. Who Umi loves is not Chizuru. He can't even really face her. To Chizuru, it's not about picking a great guy. Anyone can be a great guy. That's not love. Chizuru says she might be in love right now, and she is sure this is where she is at. When facing Umi, she says, I want to face that person wholeheartedly. She's literally telling Umi that not only is he not actually facing his feelings wholly, but he isn't facing Kazuya. I think Umi does not actually acknowledge Kazuya. He thinks he is above him. To Umi and the readers, Kazuya is just a loser. They refuse to acknowledge him. Yet Kazuya did something Umi never could. Make dreams come true. actually seeing, accepting, and loving all of Chizuru. Kazuya's words hit Chizuru not because he confessed, but because he acknowledged and saw her in the end. He put real effort into knowing her, remembering her, seeing and accepting the real her as she accepted him. He saw her when he was literally looking away from her, when he was blind. Kazuya believes he is powerless. The world around him has conditioned him that he is powerless, but Kazuya can move mountains. His actions don't just influence others, they help them transform. His real actions, not the ones of others. When he's true to himself, when he dreams. Umi is left where he stands. He didn't move an inch, but his fortitude did nothing for him before. But his fortitude did nothing for him before, and it did nothing for him now. It is the end of the road. When we cut back to Kazuya, he is working on job hunting, and he remembers his efforts in the movie, his real effort. This real effort Kazuya put in the film fuels his drive to improve and get a job because it's for Chizuru. But notice what it's built on. It's built on Minnie's false words, contrasted by the small kiss. His drive is built on a lie versus the real drive he had in the movie arc. This is important. Is what Kazuya is doing now for Chizuru? Will this really make her happy? Chizuru told Omi she doesn't know what makes her happy, yet Kazuya is certain him getting a job will do it. But shouldn't he get a job because he wants to? Is Kazuya truly facing Chizuru right now? Umi contacting him right now highlights this clearly. The man who cannot see being forced to look, while the man who can see chooses not to. This clash is inevitable. Umi has no choice but to acknowledge Kazuya. He has always referred to him as him, or that person with Chizuru. Umi, when speaking to Kazuya, acts nice and seemingly acknowledges him, but it's all a thinly veiled disguise for his unwillingness to actually see despite looking. He doesn't refer to him by name when speaking to Chizuru, so Kazuya doesn't become real to her. Kazuya is always he. 395 is also meant to contrast chapter 268, when Sumi sees Chizuru, seeing her pain, her sorrow, and her isolation, contrasted by Umi, who sees the ideal girl both during his visit when he is being rejected by and when he is being rejected by her. He claims to love her, yet doesn't see her, whereas Sumi acts with love. Sumi is also afraid to speak Chizuru's feelings into existence, despite knowing that Chizuru is referring to Kazuya. But she ultimately cheers her on when she sees how Chizuru beats herself up, just like Sumi beats herself up. Sumi sees the beautiful soul just trying her best. She empathizes with Chizuru, actually feeling her pain and her struggle. Chizuru literally mirrors Sumi on her birthday, feeling unseen and like a failure. And Sumi, being the fellow rental girlfriend, sees and acknowledges her mentor. She makes her presence in Chizuru's life felt. Sumi's little visit on Chizuru's birthday had so much more impact on Chizuru than Umi's visit ever did. The only reason Umi's visit did anything positive for Chizuru was because of her own actions. She chose to ask Kazuya out. She chose to go to the nursery with him. She chose to see him smile with the children. Umi is not a part of Chizuru's life. He is not there in important moments. He doesn't make an active choice to be in her life. Kazuya does do this. Even when Kazuya is emulating Umi, he faces Chizuru head on. Even when he's lying to himself, his body instinctively faces her. Kazuya is there in those important moments. Umi never saw Chizuru break down about her grandparents. Umi never saw Chizuru break down about her grandparents dying. Umi never saw Chizuru breaking down over being a failure. Umi never nursed her back when she was on her period. Umi never saw the little girl who loves playing games. Kazuya did. Kazuya doesn't see this in himself. He doesn't see his influence on Chizuru. He doesn't see his presence is truly the greatest gift he can give. Not money, a job, or a hot bod. Just being there and doing what he needs to. That his happiness is her happiness too. The teaser for next time is, I don't want to lose her. It apparently has the same expression as NTR, but minus the N. Lol. This reminds me of Kazuya's words after the Tiger's Den in chapter 179, minus the NTR. The words are completely different in Japanese, but seems to be similar. But there is a similarity of not wanting to lose Chizuru. It would be so funny if Umi is the one saying this, not Kazuya. To me, the only reason Umi called Kazuya is because he has no choice but to actually acknowledge him. Literally, like Chizuru faced Umi and called his particular word choice that he uses for Kazuya, that person. If that's the case, would he try to talk to Kazuya or lie? If Umi lies, Kazuya can actually call him out on his bullshit because Kazuya knows Umi confessed to Chizuru. Umi doesn't know Kazuya knows this. He doesn't know Kazuya has actually seen his schemes firsthand and might be upset that Umi is actually getting in Chizuru's way. I kind of doubt this, but this is super fitting considering Kazuya may interact with Mami soon, a person who, like Umi, also schemed in the background. Whereas Umi wants to be superior to Kazuya, Mami felt inferior to Chizuru. Mami is more like Kazuya now, seeking true change but lying to herself. I also want to point out the cover of chapter 395. It is a cover showing Chizuru in a maid outfit, much more sexy this time. This, I think, represents her growing feelings for Kazuya. As in chapter 237, she also wore a maid outfit, but it was much more tame then. Now it's more adult, it's maturing. Chizuru's feelings for Kazuya are not only literally maturing in her desiring more physical intimacy from him, but also in taking control of those feelings and actively choosing to pursue them sincerely and with full autonomy over her choices. She is not half-hearted, she is serious. A part of me wants Umi to be kind of direct with Kazuya in the next chapter. I think it won't change Kazuya's current direction outright. Maybe Kazuya may even try harder to now be a better man. I think Chizuru will be the one to snap Kazuya out of what he's doing now. This is, let's see. Oh yeah, Chizuru's butt and legs are immaculate in this shot. Oh yeah, a few people mentioned Kazuya's phone not being broken in this final shot. A few even mentioned it on stream. I bet it's just an error on Reiji's part. We see it cracked in other scenes. Maybe it's intentional, considering Umi is connected to the phone, but who knows. Umi noticed Chizuru wasn't okay and did the bare minimum, so this is in response to this. I think Umi started to notice Chizuru when she was down because of her grandma's health, and suddenly she was joyful and bright because of the movie project. That change of attitude got his eyes, because Chizuru always hid her weakness. That's why he put Shiori to talk with Chizuru. No, Umi didn't do that because of Shiori. He just wanted to help Chizuru because, Umi wanted to help. That's what he fucking does. But Umi noticed Chizuru wasn't okay and did the bare minimum. He didn't do anything himself. He just takes other people's victories, has other people do things for him. He doesn't actually step up, check in, actually help when Chizuru is down, only when she's up. Umi never checks in again. We don't even see him say happy birthday to Chizuru. Shiori does. He doesn't even celebrate or show up for either of her birthdays. Kazuya does. He is there for both of her birthdays. Umi is literally never around and expects to have a relationship. You can even see this in the game. He doesn't check in on Shiori, who is down and tired. He doesn't take a break to watch over her when she may have tried so hard for him. No, he just keeps playing and gets more mesmerized by Chizuru. Umi doesn't know how to care and truly love others. Umi is too busy getting what he wants, happy with doing the bare minimum. Umi clearly has never actually had to seriously try in a relationship. He's always aura farming, always being cool and in control, always getting things. He's never known what it means to put a real effort into a relationship. Every single scene shows this exact thing with his character. In contrast, Kazuya in chapter 395 sees the effort he put in, all the work he did to make the movie, all the time he spent to really make things like this, to make something like that a success, because he genuinely loves and believes in Chizuru. Kazuya and Umi are like hard work versus endowment. Natural talent gives you a small edge, but it's no replacement for hard work and real effort. In simple terms, Riz means jack shit if you don't actually put in an effort into the thing that you love, if you don't actually try to get good. It's no different from a skill. If you want to learn to cook, to draw, or to play a musical instrument, you have to put the time in, make a real effort to improve. Love is the same. It's about putting in the time. Kazuya rewards Chizuru's time and effort, just as Chizuru rewards Kazuya's time and effort. Umi doesn't. Chizuru is now giving it 110% for Kazuya, putting in the same amount of effort he did, facing him wholeheartedly, working on her love for him with the same certainty and determination he has, ready to face his and her own feelings with no doubt, take ownership of her choices and feelings. But that's the thing. Love isn't simply hard work. It's also presence and time. You don't just work hard and boom, it works out. It's also about acceptance, seeing each other, being present, and being true to yourself and your choices. I think the story is talking about this now. Effort is merely one part of the picture. Kazuya wasn't rejected because of his lack of effort. Rather, it was because Chizuru felt she hadn't put in enough effort yet, not realizing she actually did a lot. And it was actually Kazuya who wasn't acknowledging that effort. Chizuru rejecting Umi is amazing, but I think maybe it underlies a problem: autonomy. Chizuru thinks she needs to put more effort in, and maybe that's true, but Kazuya has been quite stagnant. Is that really on her then, or does Kazuya himself need agency over his life? I think this is an important discussion to have in order to understand the real issue at hand. The Kazuya isn't really rewarding Chizuru's efforts or his own right now, merely believing in her to take action while he lets Minnie do all of the work for him. Something has to change. In a sense, it's the type of effort. It's not about putting in any effort. Rather, it's about making a real and active choice in your life that you actually believe in, regardless of whether it's right or wrong or how others view it. I think that's what Kazuya needs again. He needs to fuck up big. Look, it happens to everyone sometimes. You get caught up in the moment and set this goal that's way beyond your reach. And once it starts to feel more real, the weight of it causes you to freeze up. What's going on? Sheesh. I don't know what's got you all worked up, but after winning an S tier hottie, like, is there anything you need to worry about screwing up? No, the whole girlfriend thing is a lie, so. Besides, I like those kinds of people. Those who make big mistakes. I mean, you're always better off not making mistakes, but the mistakes you work hard to earn, those lend a lot of credence to what you say. I don't want to hear about some watch from a 100 yen shop. I want to hear about a guy who paid a fortune for a pile of crap. Kibe. But hey, just do what you can. There's no such thing as someone who goes through life without a miracle. Whew. Alrighty. Think we read everything. And then, let's see, we had this from Mute, where we talked about the height thing, right? Mute makes some great points about Umi's superiority complex. Umi is literally framed like he is above, he doesn't move, he is ethereal, a fantasy, or even godlike. But that's not human, that's not love, that's just selfish and sad jealousy. Kazuya, in contrast, is Chizuru's equal. Yeah. Well said. Nothing but a farce, a mere act of a relationship, not a real one, acting out love, not actually experiencing or feeling it. Umi merely sees Chizuru as his muse, something that he may prove he is superior to Kazuya. He is but a child pretending to know love. Let's see. I also noticed how Chizuru says, "I'm sorry" to Kazuya and looks up at him right away. But with Umi, she stays bowed until but with Umi, she stays bowed until he speaks and only has the paralleling image after the 380 in her second rejection. Umi had to get rejected twice to get even a sliver of what Kazuya got. Chizuru bows first when looking at Kazuya directly and rejects Chizuru bows first then looks at Kazuya directly and rejects him. She doesn't even look at Umi at first. She only looks at him again as if to tell him he needs to look because he refuses to actually see what's in front of him. Umi is in denial of the truth that's in clear view. All right. How long have we been streaming? Almost 3 hours. 5 minutes until 3 hours. Not bad. Let's see. People are saying that the flower on Chizuru's bra are hibiscus. We'll look at it one more time. They didn't look like hibiscus to me. I have a very clear image now, so let me pull it up. Actually, wait. Let me go find it. All right. Let's see. Those don't look like hibiscus to me. Like on some angles they do. Maybe they are. They have more petals than a normal hibiscus, you know? They have more petals than a normal hibiscus. I think it's more important to just recognize there's a flower. The nature of the fact that there is a flower is what's important, because it's literally Chizuru's feelings blooming. They literally represent Chizuru's feelings blooming. That's more so what the flower means. They're literally Chizuru's feelings blooming, right? It's literally Chizuru's feelings that she wears clothes over, right? She changes out of these clothes because they're not for Umi. They're for Kazuya. So if they are hibiscus, cool, but they don't look like hibiscus, right? Everyone will say they're hibiscus, but I don't know. They don't look like a hibiscus to me. Because hibiscus have more like straight flowers, you know? They're E-cups, right? I forgot. I don't know what size Chizuru is. I don't know what size Chizuru is, man. Yeah. They kind of look like hibiscus, but I don't know. If they are hibiscus, cool. Like, sure, it's a running thing. Hibiscus is literally like new love and lasting love. And it also means a delicate beauty. Whereas the flower for Mami, the morning gloria, represents what is it? Ephemeral love that fades, love that ends, right? And Reiji has Chizuru in the cover carrying a morning gloria, whereas Mami on her head has a hibiscus. Because Chizuru is a rental girlfriend and Mami is a real girlfriend. In reality, it's reversed. Do we know if they're expensive or not? What? The thing she's wearing? The fuck should I know? Probably. I don't know how expensive that would be, but maybe. I don't fucking know. It's a random thing, you know? How the fuck should I know? I don't know if this shit's expensive. Like, literally, the whole point of this is these are clothes of love. Literally, the whole idea is these are clothes of love, right? And then here she changes to different clothes of combat, if you will, right? Kazuya says Chizuru changed. She's literally in the middle of changing. If the price is high, it's saying something. That's we don't know. We just know we've never seen Chizuru wear clothes like this. So I feel like that says a lot, but that's it. Right? These clothes are probably for Kazuya. Who knows? Really? I can't say. I can't say I know why Chizuru's wearing that lingerie, you know? That's a strange time to be wearing it when she's going to reject someone. Or she must have had someone model for this. No. Reiji looks at magazines. And he's good with anatomy. So he just checks how the magazine looks and adjusts it accordingly. I doubt he has someone model. Usually the things Reiji does modeling for is when he wants to do the background scenarios. So like for instance, let's talk about the cab real quick. The cab picture in chapter 386, for that he took like he actually rented a cab and like took a whole bunch of pictures of it. Like this entire sequence, you see how it's literally turning? These are literally pictures Reiji took. And then the sky here, he literally worked on the sky here for 3 fucking days. Because he wanted this thing to be fucking perfect. And he couldn't leave it to his editor. So he just went nuts. And literally sat down. He's like, I wanted this thing to be fucking right. And yes, he took a picture of the cab. And he took like a bunch of fucking pictures. That's the kind of stuff Reishi does. In terms of the characters, I think he can do stuff like he can measure it himself, you know. He can like have someone like step into the car. But I don't know if it's like a hibiscus. I don't think so. It doesn't look like a hibiscus. I think we would need to see it again from like a different angle. So it's like, for instance, in chapter let's go to here. The clothes Chizuru wears, the flower on them is a lily, right? But it's a kind of a weird lily. So you couldn't tell immediately. But this makes sense. Why? Because Sayuri's name is literally small lily. Chizuru is literally being kind of like Sayuri with Nagomi here. That's the point. She's literally like being like Sayuri with Nagomi here. So I don't know if it's a hibiscus. It's really hard to tell. The hibiscus also appeared in Hawaiians in the ring that Chizuru gave to Kazuya's mother in the Hawaiians chapter of the anime. Well, okay, Hawaiians it's their whole thing is a fucking hibiscus. Hawaii's whole thing is a fucking hibiscus. So yeah, that makes sense. Of course it would be. Of course it would be. Chapter 12, yes, of course. I'm aware. I literally just talked about that. The thing is, everyone looks for a hibiscus constantly on Chizuru's clothes, like forever and ever. Chizuru just exists. Oh my god, it's a fucking hibiscus. When it's not always a hibiscus. That's why I'm hesitant to say it's a hibiscus. Unless I get like a different angle that'll tell me, hey, this is clearly a fucking hibiscus. I'm not going to say this is a hibiscus because I can't fucking tell. It doesn't look like one. To me, this doesn't look like a hibiscus. There are hints of a hibiscus, but I don't know. It's too fluffy. The flower feels too fluffy. It doesn't feel like a hibiscus. Like here, let's look up a hibiscus. Right? There is similarities, right? You can see some similarities, but there's also like kind of differences. Right? I don't see like the centerpiece. So maybe it's a hibiscus, I don't know. Like no, it's not a hydrangea. The hydrangea looks too different. Like this picture right here looks the closest. Right, this picture right here does look the close. Okay, maybe it is a hibiscus. Okay, if it is a hibiscus, well, we know. Might be a pawnee. No, it's not a pawnee. Pawnees are so different, dude. Pawnee. Yeah, definitely not a pawnee. Yeah, look at that. That's not a pawnee. No. I think hibiscus is totally possible here. If this is the hibiscus we're looking at. So let's see. Hana kotaba. Hibiscus. Okay. Meaning of a hibiscus. Let's translate. The hibiscus's general meaning is a delicate beauty and new love. Every new beauty and bravery. Ooh. Beauty, delicate beauty. The flower blooming from summer to autumn, peak season is July to August, and comes in red, pink, white, yellow, and orange. Always new beauty and brave. That makes some sense. The element of bravery could very much be relevant here. Beautiful makes sense. A delicate beauty. It has been long known in Japan as Bosage Buddha flower, but it is said that after the hibiscus became the state flower of Hawaii, it began to be called the hibiscus in Japan as well. It is said to be a native to southern China and is known to English as the China rose. In the West, beautiful flowers are often described as being like roses. By the way, camellias and hydrangeas have been called Japanese roses in the West. Hibiscus is an ephemeral flower that blooms for only one day and then withers the same day, but in the sunny location it will continue to produce buds and bloom one after another. The flower's meaning of new love and always new beauty is said to come from the fact that the hibiscus blooms new flowers every day. This is also kind of like not a fair statement because there are hibiscuses that actually last a long time. The hibiscuses are actually flowers that like if they take good roots, that shit will fucking hold. That shit will literally not fall the fuck apart. There are some very strong hibiscuses. So that's not a completely fair assessment. It's just like the type of hibiscus they're talking about that is the one that blooms anew constantly. The hibiscus also appears in chapter 13 in Kibei's speech. Kibei was watering. Yes. I know. Bro, I know more about the language of flowers than all of you fuckers. Dude, I'm one of the first ones who talked about it. I'm sorry to be a dick. I'm one of the first people who talked about the language of flowers. Like, bro. Here, you want me to play a fucking game with you? I bet none of you fucking know this one. The flower that Chizuru wears here, this is right after Kazuya gets rejected. The flower that Chizuru fucking wears here is a tulip. let me pull up the meaning of tulips for you. He'll translate. The flower language of tulips is compassion. The flower language depending on the color. Red tulips represent a confession of love. Yellow tulips represent hopeless love. In the West, English love are perfect lover and fame. The ones we see here are white tulips. These are white tulips. What does a white tulip mean? Lost love. The chapter to think that our hands were joined back then. The chapter where Kazuya is rejected, Reiji shows a cover of Chizuru wearing white tulips. Lost love. And then I said it could also be yellow. I colored this one myself. I'm kind of proud of it. I said it could also be yellow because what is yellow? Hopeless love. A flower is just a flower to me. Reiji has openly said he uses the language of flowers. You can think whatever the fuck you want. Reiji has openly said he uses the language of flowers in his storytelling. Like, he even jokes about it in one of his, what is it? He even jokes about it in one of the delusions Kazuya has at the end of the at the end of the volumes. One of the delusions Kazuya has at the end of the volumes is that Chizuru is a flower shop clerk, and she gives him a sunflower. Sunflowers in Japanese, literally, in the Japanese language of flowers, which is hanakotaba, literally mean I only look at you. I only have eyes for you, right? So when Kazuya looks it up and he looks at Chizuru, he's like, oh my god, she was confessing to me with the flower. Also, for those who don't know, Bleach actually has a lot of references to flowers. So Bleach actually has a lot of references to hanakotaba too. It's a lot of anime actually have a lot of references to the language of flowers. It's very popular. For instance, Demon Slayer. fucking Demon Slayer. The Demon Slayer flowers. These evil fucking flowers. These evil fucking flowers, dude. They're called spider lilies. And animes love to show them. Anime love to show the red spider lily. It'll translate. Spider lily means sad memories and resignation. These flowers are actually quite dangerous too, right? These flowers are actually quite fucking dangerous. They're fucking poisonous. So this shit, you don't want to touch this shit. You will fucking die. This shit is actually bad, and it has a bad like representation in Japanese culture directly connected to death. So these flowers are bad news. I remember, yeah. Funny thing about Licorice Recoil. They had so you know those cut shots, or like I forgot what they're called. It's like when it cuts to a shot for the commercials. One of them in Licorice Recoil had the characters putting it in their mouth, and they literally removed it because they thought it would incentivize people to do this, and those things are poisonous. You'll fucking die. So literally they had to remove that because Licorice Recoil was like saying, oh, look, that's cool. It's like, no, dude. Yeah, there's these flowers too, the Westria. I'm gonna look up Westrias real quick. Kindness, welcome, never leaving, intoxicated with love. Welcome and steadfast, right? What happens in what is it? What happens in Demon Slayer when they get to these flowers? These flowers are a place of safety. What do the flowers mean in the language of flowers? Welcome and steadfast. It literally aligns with the meaning of the flowers and their protective nature. So yeah, the flowers on Chizuru's bra could be hibiscus. I could see it. They could theoretically be hibiscus. Maybe we could get a different angle in the future so we know exactly what kind of flowers they are. And it makes sense, you know, especially with bravery being a big thing of the flower, right? If it is hibiscus, the element of bravery is important because Chizuru is being brave. She's getting tough. So the flowers possibly being hibiscus, that could work. I think they might be a hydrangea. I don't think so. Hydrangeas look very different. See, that doesn't look like a hydrangea. Yeah, definitely not a hydrangea. Hydrangea was what she wore in the date. Hydrangea was what she wore in the date, and we were specifically told they were hydrangeas. Those actually look, they look different. I do think, like, upon another look, they do kind of look like hibiscus, which makes some sense. Hydrangea wouldn't make too much sense, thematically speaking. Look at the gimpy. It's called something else I can't say. A soldier in Australia used it as a toilet paper, and let's just say he couldn't bear the pain anymore. I'm not looking that up. That's a nice story, but I'm not looking that up. It's something, buddy. That's something. I ain't looking that up. Huh. I don't know why the live tab has been stuck at 4747 this whole time. Cool. So I think that's everything. Was there anything else we needed to talk about? Is there anything else I missed that we should talk about? Other than the fact that there's a bunch of fucking mistranslations. That's just so dumb. That should piss me the fuck off. Yeah, I'll probably post about it on Twitter later just to point out those corrections. Yeah. Oh yeah, never stop. If you're still here, what was it? What was the difference in Chizuru's words in chapter 395 about her feelings? She's like more certain of her feelings. I don't quite remember the specifics of why she's like more certain, or she sounds more certain. Like she says, I'm in the process of being in love or something. That's where I'm at. Whereas in Japanese, she says, surely that's where I'm at. That makes a lot of difference. It's just her explicitly saying something externally that she's done running away. I might be able to fall in love, not in love. If I understood you correctly. It's not about deciding if she's in love or not. She already knows that she is, but basing it correctly, her feelings. Surely that's where I'm at. Not sure how that makes such difference, but the Japanese version sounds just a little bit more certain. She also says, I might be able to fall in love, not in love. Oh, okay. She doesn't, she says, I might be able to fall in love, not I might be in love. Ah, that is a little different. Yeah. Now it makes sense, which is her talk to Umi so quickly. What? What makes sense about that? What makes sense about Chizuru talking to Umi so quickly? What is Shadow? What do you mean? Why does it make sense that Chizuru talked to Umi so quickly? Never getting an answer. About Chizuru wanting to kiss him and not regretting it. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it literally said it. Chizuru seemingly found her answer. Like, chapter 387 is literally Chizuru sitting with her fucking feelings. Her love is literally everywhere in the fucking room and Minnie can't see it. Her love is literally everywhere in the room and Minnie can't fucking see it because she's a blind... she's a blind idiot. That's what she is. She's a fucking dum-dum. Alrighty. 323. I think I'm done. I'm getting a little beat. I'll work on... What is it? I have some things I need to finish, so I'll finish those first. And then we can go from there. In a way, the separation is actually getting them closer. Pretty much. It's like a necessary separation. Yeah, I think the separation is like necessary at this point. Just to have them like deal with some of their issues. Address some of their problems. I do think they might meet before the July 11th date. I feel like they will, especially Kazuya's birthday. Like, let's be real. I think maybe Chizuru's actual deadline is Kazuya's birthday. I think they'll meet before then. I think chapter 400 will be important. I think chapter 399 will be important. And chapter 400 will be important. That's what I think. So we'll have to see. I think chapter 400 there's going to be a massive change. It's literally 400 literally 4 the number of death. There's going to be a massive death. Nobody's going to actually die. Nobody's going to actually die. What I mean is that there would be something's actually going to like something we've understood is going to end. Something we've understood is going to end, and it'll be something positive, like a new beginning. I think 400 will be like a new beginning. I don't know, to be honest, if Kazuya will actually talk to Chizuru by chapter 397. I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck Umi's gonna do next chapter. Chizuru is already wearing her heart on her sleeve. Yeah. It's good to rely on your partner, but codependency is not healthy. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? I'm gonna call for now. I will see y'all later. Have a good day. GG's. See you later. Because Kazuya doesn't want to lose Chizuru to whatever Umi's trying to do to him. I literally don't know what the fuck is gonna happen next chapter. You're a very good stream. Incredible. Thank you. That's very nice. I'm getting kind of fucking sleepy. I get sleepy around this time because I have to get up super early for work. I don't have to get up super early for work tomorrow, but I'm still fucking sleepy. Anyways, I do have something I do want to finish for you guys. Right now, I'm trying to finish a video about season 5. I talk about volume 42 as well, and I also talk about the Hawaiians event. I want to finish a video on the opening for season 4. I have a huge fucking theory on the opening for season 4. Or not a theory, just like an analysis that's so much more in depth than what we did when I was trying to talk about it. Like season 4's opening has so much fucking going on. It's very complicated. And then finally, I want to do a video on the Ruka event, but I don't fucking know how. Like I'm not very experienced with like making documentaries, and I don't feel like I have enough info to make a proper documentary on the on the Ruka event. So I'm not even sure how I would want to fucking structure it, you know. That's gonna be a hard part. I feel like the Ruka video would have to be kind of big, but also not big. It's kind of hard to know, you know, how I want to fucking do that. Um, I think for now I'll just finish the season 5 video, and then afterwards I'll maybe try to condense this into a video. We shouldn't need another stream. We shouldn't need another stream unless there's like a reason to. One thing in chapter 122, Minnie yells at Chizuru, and 5 chapters later, Umi appears. Now in chapter 390, Minnie yells at her, and 5 later, Umi appears. Lol, curious. That's funny. That doesn't. That's not. I got you. I got you. That's a false premise. Chizuru Minnie yelled at Chizuru in chapter 234 or 235, and Umi didn't appear. Boom. Lawyered. Lawyered. It's okay. It's okay. Time to rewatch the stream. Enjoy your rest, Yoan. Thank you. Yeah. I'm calling it for now. Go zoom into me. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like button, the bell icon, keep up with the uploads. I'm half asleep. Consider supporting me on Patreon. I would really appreciate it. Consider joining our Discord for free so you can talk to me. Also, be nice or you're gonna get fucking your ass kicked. And finally, consider following me on Twitter where I make a whole bunch of analysis and fun stuff. Just don't be a dick. I will block your fucking ass. Yeah, I've been Fate. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, like button, the bell icon, keep up with the uploads, and remember, Les Mosley. Have a good night. I might go play some Resident Evil 2. The original Resident Evil 2. I've been playing OG Resident Evil 2. It's pretty good. Kind of miss that game. In like a weird way. I've had to beat Resident Evil 3. Why am I still talking? I'm going to go to bed now. Okay, bye.